Oh, did I? Okay. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, you know what I can do here? Bam, bam. Come back, come back. Pick up, pick up, bam. Hey, good catch. Oops, that didn't work either. Bam, 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 bam. All right, let's see. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, let's see what's going on. Does this work? Bam, bam. Okay, good. Let's see what's going on the internet. Uh-oh. Allow. Good. Uh-oh, what'd that do? uh, okay. That's frick. That looks like a comedy thing. All right, let's see, man. Jeez.
Now at 5 o'clock, a family mourning tragedy. A mom and her baby daughter were suddenly killed by lightning outside a home in Margate.
First responders rushed them to a hospital, but they sadly passed away. Local 10's Byron Tollefson joins us with this heartbreaking story. Byron.
We're all thinking of this father and this entire family this evening. I mean, can you imagine something like this happening to you? The father came back to the scene earlier today and expressed the pain and anguish that he's feeling.
Words can't describe that feeling.
Cameron Glasgow coming back to the spot that he lost his wife, Kenya, and their 2-year-old daughter, Kennedy.
It's gonna be tough to lose somebody that I've been with for half my life.
Both mom and daughter struck by lightning and killed Sunday afternoon. The family was coming to Cameron's aunt's home for family dinner. Margate police say they found them lying on the sidewalk around 2:30 in the 7900 block of Northwest 1st Street.
Jeez.
Cameron says he felt the electricity shock him.
I got the actual aftershock from the ground. By the grace of God, I'm still here.
He couldn't believe what he saw next.
And to turn around and see your wife and your daughter there lifeless is even worse.
Cameron and Kenya were high school sweethearts. She was just 31.
The biggest heart in the world. The biggest heart in the world puts everybody before herself.
Kennedy, just 2 years old. They leave behind Kensley, her twin.
For her to lose her twin sister.
Man.
Words can't describe that feeling.
This horrible story, a reminder that lightning strikes can happen.
A lot of lightning, especially this time of year as we're still in hurricane season.
If you're stuck outside, doctors say look for any kind of shelter.
But ideally, you want to get down on the ground as low as possible. Lightning kind of hits the highest points first. So if there's a ditch or something like that, that's something you ideally could be into.
Man, that's freaking rough. Jeez. Unbelievable. Crooked todo. $7.4. Man, people are getting. No way. What's up? Hello, hello. What up, Bridget? Jeez, let's see. No survival instincts. That's right. Massachusetts, Karen Solomon. Toxic gas accident. Man, what's going on? That's freaking this stuff. It's the news.
9 killed in a toxic gas accident at an HKC certified shipbreaking yard. This is from the Maritime Executive, and it was published on the 16th of August,
rough stuff.
2026. On Friday,
Thank you, Bridget.
9 shipbreaking workers were killed and 6 more injured by exposure to hydrogen sulfide gas at the Federist steelbreaking yard in Chattogram, raising questions in Bangladesh about the safety at a green certified ship recycler. It was the largest fatal shipbreaking accident in recent memory, approaching the scale of a dramatic explosion in Pakistan in 2016, which killed an estimated 27 people and injured 58 more. The casualty occurred on board the LNG carrier Razi. Federist Steel reported the ship as beached at Chattogram in July of 2025, indicating that it had been undergoing demolition at the yard for more than a year. At 8:30 a.m. on Friday, workers were cutting a hole into a ballast tank when a large volume of H2S gas leaked out of the ballast tank into the enclosed compartment.
So they probably didn't even see it. That they cut a hole into the ballast tank, which is usually you can fill full of water and it can balance the boat. You have ballast tanks on like each side of the boat, so if you're tipping to one side, you can fill more water on the other side to balance it out. So they probably cut into it, and then they probably couldn't even see the gas. It's heavier than air.
They were occupying. First responders found high concentrations of ammonia and methane as well. H2S concentrations inside the ship remained dangerously high for 3 days after the casualty. Hydrogen sulfide gas is formed by anaerobic bacteria during the decomposition of organic matter, and is best known as the compound that gives pipeline natural gas its distinctive rotten egg odor. It is considered unhealthy at concentrations above 50 parts per million.
Unhealthy.
Dangerous at concentrations above 100 parts per million. And immediately deadly knockdown effect above 700 parts per million. 3 other ballast tanks on the ship had already been cut up without incident. The ship had been certified gas-free before work began last year, according to union representatives of the Shipbreaking Workers Trade Union Forum, which had accused the yard of safety problems and violations of health and safety regulations. Federist Steel had previously been cited by the Department of Inspection for factories and establishments for alleged safety lapses and non-payment of wages. A local government committee has been formed to look into the matter at the district level, but the union leaders called for higher-level investigations, according to the Business Times. This is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Cutting these ships apart is what these people do on a daily basis.
Right. It was just another day at work. But the people that were supposed to check it with the chemical sniffers apparently did 3 out of the 4 tanks, didn't do the one that ended up killing
And it's a
folks.
very, very dangerous job. You can bet on that. But running into H2S in a ballast tank seems very strange. I wonder what was in that ballast tank that was decomposing to create this H2S. Whatever it was deadly.
Yeah.
It took out 9 people. That is a lot in one hit, even for a place like a shipbreaking yard that are notoriously dangerous.
Man.
All we can say at a time like this is rest in peace to everyone that was lost in this tragedy, and condolences to everyone's families.
Man, rough. Jeez. Can you imagine being out there cutting these retired ships apart, cutting into one of them, and then just nine of you just fall over? Like, I think I'm feeling dizzy, just out like a light. Unbelievable. 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 There's a lot of stuff going on. Hydro turbines. Uh-oh. freak. Let's see. Yeah, they got safety sandals. Have you seen that cyclists get attacked by a drone? No. No, I haven't. A cyclist attacked by a drone? Let's see. Cyclist attacked by drone. Hold on. Does he make it? I don't want to watch somebody get blown up. Yeah, look, I think I found it, but I don't want to show it if somebody's going to get died.
Let's stay on topic because in Ukraine, a cyclist is said to have been attacked by a Russian drone. At least that is what a video currently circulating on the platform X shows.
The Donetsk regional prosecutor is quoted as saying that a civilian on a bicycle was injured in a drone attack, and a social media account even claims that the cyclist was killed. As of now, the video appears to be genuine.
Jeez. Back in action, Papa Bear. Man. It was just sitting there on the ground, not saving power, just viewing through the camera. Man, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Man, that's wackadoo. Yeah, I'm back, Papa Bear. What's up, Dorjeen? Yeah, camping, right. Camping drone. Amtrak train collides with car in a fiery crash. Uh-oh. New crime trend DJI. When you audit. Let's see what's going on here. More wildfires, man. 6 million going hungry in Somalia. A Somali famine crisis. Something serious wrong with fast food. What up, Trey? I've seen that one Flox drones might show up to your front door called 911 DFR drones, first response drones. No, I haven't seen that yet either. You can't believe anything Ukraine Russia about. Yeah, right. No. Listen, propaganda is unfreaking believable, and you got no idea what's true. Like that little clip we saw could absolutely be made by the Russians. I mean, it's from the first person camera of the drone. So if it's a Russian drone, that means that news agency got the drone footage. How did they get the drone footage? They were given the drone footage, right? Who gave them the Russian drone footage? The Russians did, right? So they probably gave them something that they wanted to see. They're going to send that little robot to blow you up, yeah? And the Sudan's rough too, man. Listen, there's a lot of stuff going on. Even in Iran, like prior to the war, they have like this warring thing going on, kind of like what we got in America with the cartels and the mobs and the gangs, where an unbelievable like millions of people back then, when they had 20 million people, they said they had 1 million people that had opiate addictions and active addiction. This was in, I want to say, the 70s, 60s, late 70s, maybe early 70s. Then when the Ayatollah came to power, they made it illegal. And then Russia invaded Afghanistan, and Afghanistan turned into like an opium freaking poppy field. And then it started flowing in through Iran to get to the ports, to get to the the Strait of Hormuz to get out to the rest of the world and whatnot. So they have like unbelievable numbers of addicts and whatnot there. And it's just been, I think, 2022 where they finally started to like treat people with addiction rather than just 86 of them and whatnot. But they have those issues with their neighboring countries. And the only thing they can really do is put up border walls and border security. I don't trust anything with the Iran conflict, both sides. Price of Brent crude still says sky high. Mm-hmm. By the way, let me know if you should stop using your name. Who, me? Why? No, you're good. Why? No, you're all right. My name's Richard. I don't care. No, I'm all good, brother. It's all part of the fog of war. Right. Yeah, you got no idea what's true. Because each government will release things to the news agencies, like Trump or whoever whoever the president is during a war will release something, knowing that our nemesis will watch that news to see what our numbers are, to what we're doing, to what the plans is and whatnot. Yeah, absolutely. So they'll release false information and stuff just for those reasons. And Russia gas is under $4 a gallon. Same with Japan. Russia's weaker than U.S. Ukraine. We're fighting 2 wars in Ukraine. Cause home temperature gas is so high. And I'm saying, what's up, Barbara? I'm back, Barbara. I thought you might want to use the pseudonym sarcasm. No. That's all good. We're all good, Dorsheen. How you doing, Barbara? Now, when you become as freaking internet famous as I am, no, it's all right. Yeah, people can know my name. I have no problem at all. No problem at all. Yeah, we're good. We're all good. All right, let's see. Uh-oh. $10,000 per day. Dark web's deadliest drug. Woke is back. And as Cantor kicked out of and harassed by what? Let's see what's going on. Trump is lying his ass off.
At this Nashville hospital, a nightmare
scenario. So I mean, if you understand, so what's probably going to happen is the prices will drop right before the midterm election. Right? Isn't that that's what happens? Right before an election, the prices drop to say, see, I can control, I am the most powerful. Happens with every president, right? They'll make something happen to so that they can say, look, we've beat the Iranians, and now crude oil, blah 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 blah. Because all the companies are benefiting from this. The companies that deal with oil are all benefiting from this also. They're still getting record profits, even though everything's more expensive. So yeah, and like there are some oil companies in America that get American oil and American gas, right? So why shouldn't it be that price? Why shouldn't it be the price of however cheap the American oil and American gas is, rather than being a worldwide average for oil? You would think that well, maybe that'll happen right before the midterms. What up, Dibs? What's going on, brother? What up, Neo? Seems to be a plan. Yeah. And it works. Works every time, because all the new voters that come in didn't experience that 4 years ago. They're 18 years old now, and they don't remember that. They didn't have a driver's license in the previous administration. Or, but at the midterms of the previous administration 4 years prior, they didn't even know what politics was. Fail, check this out. I thought the hour today about this today. Maybe a constant intake of vitamins is not good. Maybe a bit of a lack of it certain days is okay. Just like the lack of Phil guide. So listen, your body's using them every day. So you need you don't have to take supplemental vitamins every day. You don't have to take pills every day. You want to make sure you're getting 100% of your daily vitamins and minerals from your diet. And if you're not, you need to supplement with that. That's my whole point. If your diet, if you grow your own food and everything, and you know how much the vitamins and minerals in the food, like from what they used to be when they were grown properly and in healthy soil, then that's fine. You don't have to take any supplemental vitamins and minerals. But you want to make sure, like, if you have a problem, this is what's huge. If you have an issue that you would go to the doctor for, the first thing that if I had an issue I would go to the doctor for, the first thing I would do is say, well, first of all, am I deficient in any vitamins or minerals? But yeah, you don't have to take vitamins and mineral pills every day. You want to make sure you get as much as you can from your diet. And then also there's fasting. You can also fast too, which is not getting any food in you at all, vitamins, minerals, because if you're not taking eating any food, you're not getting anything anyway. But the point is, if you have an issue, if you feel fine, yeah, don't need to supplement with anything at all. My point is, if you have a problem, then you have to ask yourself, did you get what you were supposed to get from your diet? That's I think the most important thing. But yeah, you don't, like, I don't take B12 5,000 micrograms every single day because I've got, like, you fill up your stores. But if I was deficient for freaking 45 years, then you got to get filled back up, and your body needs a lot of those chemicals to repair itself and whatnot. And then once you get back to a good baseline where you're like, okay, everything's going good, then yeah, you don't need to keep up. Yeah, you just need to top up. Your body uses approximately pretty much the daily value that you see for each vitamin mineral. That's about what your body uses every day. If you work out a lot, right, then you're going to need more than that. But yeah, you don't need to supplement if you're getting it from your diet. My son's 19. He has all the answers. Yep, that's 19. I did too at 19. You can't say that I started paying attention to politics when I was 14, 15. I was pretty well prepared. Sure. And many people are, but I would say most people aren't. And they don't know the tricks. They don't know make them suffer until an election time, and then ease off on the pain. The power of forgetting for the masses is enormous. Yep. That's why they use so many slogans. You love slogans, right? Yeah, right. Fasting, right? No, fasting is absolutely great for you. Absolutely great for you. Like the way the body goes into rest and repair, especially if you're overweight, because you got a lot of toxins and stuff built up on that extra fat that's just slowly leaking back into your body. So when you fast and you no longer have sugar in your bloodstream, then your body goes over and starts converting fat into energy. And then it'll burn through all that stuff and boil out basically the toxins that are in your excess fat. But the important thing is, if you have a problem, if there's something, if you're exhausted all the time, if you've got ADHD symptoms, if you've got anxiety, depression, anything like that, say, okay, is there a reason I may have this? Well, I only eat dino nuggies. So and what's in dino nuggies? Nothing. It's got calories. Great. But yeah, and that's what I want to get across. You do not need supplemental vitamins every day. If you're out in the sun all day, you don't need to take supplemental vitamin D. But if you stay inside glass and the only sunlight you're getting is coming through glass, and you don't spend an hour outside in the sun every day, yeah. But yeah, fasting's great for you too. But that's also, like, if you feel like there's something that you need to repair or something that you would ask a doctor to fix. Like if you would go to the doctor and you say, Doc, I feel this way and I don't want to feel this way anymore. I want to see if there's something I can do. The first thing every doctor should do, every person should do, I believe, is make sure you don't have a vitamin or mineral deficiency. Yeah, you don't need to take excess vitamins and minerals every day. I wouldn't say, unless you have a problem like I have, where I don't absorb vitamin B12 from my food, so I have to supplement. But I don't need to supplement every single day. Not all of them. Just vote no feelings. I understand that. Absolutely. But there's a lot that are, and the thing is if a lot of the ones that are voting on their feelings can swing a vote, then that matters. Thank you, Sir Keith, brother. Thanks. I couldn't help try. I couldn't figure that out. The power of forgetting its massive enormous consequences. This must condense your points to slogans. Yes. Fasting does a lot of unbelievable stuff. One of the primary things, like I said, it puts the body into rest and repair, basically. But the big thing is that if you're carrying any extra weight, the fasting, like I said, gets you into where it starts using the lipids, the fats as energy. It converts that fat to basically like a sugar-like energy to burn that stuff out, so you're not just leaking toxins, especially if you got fat from eating bullshit crap. You got to get them toxins out of you. But dude, listen, like the Russians, and there's still there's places in America, but not under Medicare and Medicaid, but you can go to fasting clinics. There's many fasting clinics in America, but in Russia, the government pays for that. Like if you have asthma and arthritis and stuff that medicines don't seem to help, they'll send you out to a fasting center for like 7 to 14 days, even longer if it's serious stuff, or repeated times. And they've got like a very, very, very good success rate. Slogans are nothing more than brainwashing, right? And that's why they repeat them over and over and over again. Wouldn't it be great for machine to filter out all toxins and diseases, like the liver? Right? We just overdo it. But yeah, to have an external liver. You mean aisle? Trump is going to ruin Iran. I mean, listen. I mean, it looks like they're pretty ruined. Have you looked at the Have you looked at their currency? I think it was like 1.7 to $1 US, and I think now it's like $1 million to $1 US. So if you want to get a loaf of bread, it's like $1 million of their currency. So yeah, they're in a very bad place. But I mean, the countries around them are willing to help them with a lot of economic help if they and listen. I don't know the truth. You don't know the truth. None of us know the truth. We know what we can hear from people on the internet and what we can hear from our news stations. But from economic factors, one of the big things is that is upsetting not just the United States, but also Saudi Arabia, Oman, and whatnot, is it's hurting everybody by them taxing the Strait. I wasn't necessarily talking to you in the first place, but if the shoe fits, lace it up. The danger to the pharma industry. You're a danger to the pharma industry. Tell you you're not depressed before you run for president. Yeah. What up, Mr. George? What up, Georgie?
Ontario. 4 patients harmed in an apparent medical mix-up at Ascension St. Thomas Midtown, leaving at least one person paralyzed. 72-year-old Glenda Dorton went to the hospital for knee replacement.
Yeah, listen, they're in a very bad place right now. Canada's in a very bad place. They better figure something out. They've got Alberta, Canada, that's voting to leave Canada, to secede from Canada on October 16th or 14th or 16th, one of the two. I think it's 16th. Right. So you have people that want to be their own country so they can do business with America the way that they want to do business with America. So we don't need Ontario. Ontario needs Alberta. Alberta would be doing much better if Ontario wasn't siphoning off a bunch of money to them for their freaking experiments that they're doing. And was able to flow. And that new XL pipeline running into America, once that gets back under control too, that's going to drop prices for everybody, because we'll be able to have a unbelievable flow for 170 more years at current oil uses. What up, Cheryl? Friends, I was rushed from Maine to Boston. Of course, I have a rare disorder, trigeminal neurogeminy disorder. I don't want to be selfish. Need your prayers. You got it, girl. You got it. Jeez, this is the second time that's happened. That chronic pain that causes sudden nerve like shocks down pain at one side of the face. My uncle had this. My uncle had this. They call it suicide headaches or something, right? Yeah, because he had to get a surgery behind his ear or to like move a nerve off of something. Speaking of Canada, just seen a commercial in euthanize. Like, yeah, dude. Yeah, Trey. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. He was okay afterward. Yeah. He was okay afterward. He's still freaking living it up, doing. What's up, Maki? Bernie. Do you think elites give us this kind of nonsense to keep us arguing amongst ourselves? Yes, absolutely. Listen, the reason a lot of that stuff happens is in order to cause anxiety trading and to keep people so afraid of the US economy that they don't also invest and buy a lot of the stock. They keep it available. There are so many people that dislike each other, and it makes it a lot easier to keep winning votes. Like look what they do to the minorities. The Democrats do to the minorities to keep getting the minority votes, and they don't help them. They don't help. They just keep saying we will, and then when they don't, they say, "Well, the Republicans didn't let us." Blah 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 blah. Even right, but it's crap. They absolutely do that. And listen, I think a lot of the people in Congress make more money on social media than they do in Congress. Like you think you're making $120,000-$130,000 a year on Congress. They're making that in a month on social on like Twitter, X, and YouTube and whatnot. In the meantime, they're stealing all of our money until he's starting us to slaves. Yeah. And you could beat that absolutely by investing more than you spend. But the big problem is we listen to it. And we, like, a lot of people spend money to look good on the internet or to look good public rather than saying, I'm going to wear the same shoes for 3 years. Like I do. I got my shoes are freaking old. I got paint on them and stuff. Yeah, and everything, every extra dime that doesn't go into just surviving gets invested, and work on that, because you can make a hell of a lot more money in the stock market than you can. So you got to work, do whatever you can, especially when you're young, 20s and 30s, before your energy starts to run out. And I think dating and prostitution and dating apps and all this stuff, they want people constantly up in their sex mind, thinking about sex, talking about sex and politics, who can use what bathroom, trans this, trans that, gay this, gay that, prostitute that, keeping everybody thinking about sex. So they're spending money on dating apps and prostitution and yada, 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 and just so that listen, if everybody had money, there's no elite class. If everybody was elite, no one would be elite. So they have to have. But in America, anybody can get there you've got to work to get enough money to spend. So it's a treadmill. You're on a treadmill, right? Trying to make money. Now, if you stop making money, you'll fall off the treadmill. But there's an ability to get to the front of the treadmill and go off the front end. So the money just keeps flowing into your account. So if you have enough in investments that your investments dividends will pay for your lifestyle, you're fine for the rest of your life, right? But they want people, like, they scare people. Oh, there's going to be a stock market crash. So people pull their stocks and bonds out, which cost them fees. And then that causes an artificial dip in those stocks. Then the rich, the elite, will then buy at that new artificial low. And then when the world doesn't end, when carbon dioxide doesn't destroy the world, when acid rain doesn't destroy the world, when the ozone layer doesn't destroy the world, the stocks end up going back up to their original place or a little higher. And then the poor folk will then buy back in higher and then have to pay the fees to buy back in, when the rich got that money just by scaring people, because they have access to the media. They can tell us what to be scared of. Good news. North America might have its first landlocked country soon. Yeah, it might. Yeah, yes, it might. I think most likely Alberta will be their own nation, and they'll just do good business with they'll do good business with the rest of Canada, and they'll do good business with America. But Ontario's not letting them, because they want that money. Ontario's just spend. The wokes in Canada are more evil than the wokes than our wokes. Our taxpayer-funded media intentionally whipped the crazy to a bunch of church that burned down churches. Yep. What up, Hamzy? Can you search spina bifida? I was born with it. Did surgery. 7 days old. No one is. I'm very familiar with spina bifida is. It's a lack of folate. And usually, if you they talk about folic acid, but it's folate, methylfolate. But we can look it up. Sure, Hamzy. But I'm very familiar with what it is. It's a lack of folate, and Hamzy, I'm hoping that your doctor started supplementing you with methylfolate. They probably gave you folic acid, because that's basically what most of medicine does for spina bifida. But yeah, we'll look it up. I just read Alberta had 8 times as much troll text. That's right. Yes, right. And this is why they're so pissed off. The Biden administration stopped the pipeline, the XL pipeline that was supposed to come down from Alberta into America, which would have made them billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. And they said, no, we're not going to do it anymore. And then now they're starting it back up again. So Alberta is saying, hey, this is our oil. Why is Ontario telling us what to do and telling us that we can't make more money? There's more customers. We can sell this stuff. Yeah, so it's all crazy. You think Donald will come up with something to do a third term? No, I don't think. He's 80 years old. I don't think so. I think he's a troll. I think he's absolutely just saying that stuff to get on to get under the skin of people and play a power game. Alberta had huge tar sands refined in Canada. Woke shut it down. Yeah, right. All right. Just so everyone knows, 5 years economy goes down and goes back up. 5 years it dips. I can remember. Yeah. I think Milana has. No, definitely not. I mean, maybe she may have had, but not now. No, there's no way. She wouldn't have any privacy. She would have. Think about how many people talk about wanting Trump dead. She'd be surrounded by freaking like security guards and whatnot. Her phones. She wouldn't have no way to start one up unless it was with like a Secret Service agent or something, because she wouldn't be able to text anybody and whatever. Stephen Gardner posted Trump's secret mission exposed articles of impeachment field. Stephen Gardner, do a look at that. I'm her secret lover. I still struggle to believe that oil comes from dinosaurs. It doesn't. It doesn't come from dinosaurs. That's all crap. It doesn't come from dinosaurs. We found out in the 1980s that it comes from bacteria eating old trash or not trash, but leaf litter, rotten trees and stuff like that. It gets eaten. There's bacteria that create it. And actually the Russians are finding a way that it's created naturally deeper down and digging ultra deep wells. They have this theory that I guess they're putting to the test, that it's the heat and the compression in the earth that's turning like methane from rotted stuff into hydrocarbon oil that then will condense and then so deeper and then it will flow up to pools the bubbles underneath the crust of the earth. So we dig down the crust of the earth, get into this oil bubble, and we drain it. But underneath that is where it's being created. So they're saying now, just as of this year, that it is renewable. But the dinosaur thing was a story from the people that sold oil to make it sound more rare. Like, this is all we get. Once we're out of it, it's gone. It'll be 100 million years before, you know. So if they, just like how De Beers did with diamonds, even though they were just freaking things laying on the ground, they made it sound so much more rare and so much more crazy. Please. Does this oil does not come from dinosaurs? Right, it does not come from dinosaurs. It was Mangina cell and spina bifida to be exact. All right, let's take a look at it. Their oil costs, actually, oil is primarily carbon, oxygen. Right. It's a petrochemical. It's a hydrocarbon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon. Michael J. Fox sports spina difficulties for the last 30 years. Wow. So typically you have the spine is exposed, but we'll look it up. We'll just pull something up here. Oil should stay here in the ground. Nature has for a reason. Right. Well, and a lot of places like the Middle East is collapsing in on itself because they're removing water and oil from underground, and they're not filling in the spaces that they pull the oil from with anything to hold the land up above it, so it slowly sinks in on itself. Which is why the Gobi Desert, Sierra Forest, and Serene Forest. The IRGC supposedly wants to kill Barrington. I'm sure they got a mark on all of them. Okay, let me see here. Spina bifida. And then we'll get back to trying to okay, let's see. Diamonds are the most prevalent. Right. They're just coming up, and then over the next. Okay, well, hold on. Let's do this. Spina bifida. Okay, spina
bifida is a birth defect where the spine and spinal cord don't form correctly. There are different types, including the mildest, spina bifida occulta,
a rare type where the
severe,
protective membranes around the spinal cord,
which causes nerve damage.
Taking
folic acid can lower the risk. For medical advice or a diagnosis, consult a professional.
Okay. Causes. The exact cause is unknown. Okay, right here. Folic acid. Taking enough folic acid before and during early pregnancy lowers the risk of neural tube defects. All right. So that's one of the huge ones right there. So we do this, spina bifida and methylfolate. All right. Let's see what the AI folic acid. Right. So it'll say, this is what I said it would say. It'll say folic acid because that's man-made. That's what these companies can sell you. But folic acid is the form of B9 that lowers the risk of neural tube defects. Methylfolate is an alternative form that lacks the clinical trial proof, which doesn't make any sense because the liver turns folic acid into methylfolate. But they can. This is the thing that pisses me off. It says more research is done. Okay, why didn't they do the clinical studies? Why didn't they do them? Because they want to sell you folic acid, and folic acid is what the government will put in our food and stuff like that. That's why you don't see much spina bifida in America anymore, because it's in our bread and stuff. The blood diamonds. She literally wore a bunch of creepy ass shit about Trump and loves him so much. Her dad off himself when she started working for Trump. Had a weird relationship. Jeez, Allie Harper's new press secretary. Not America to look her up. She's obsessed over it. Probably smoked a cigar. Yes, my left leg nerve's a bit weak, and it's a bit weaker than the other. So Hamzi, I can't promise you anything, obviously, but what a lot of this stuff is, this is a vitamin deficiency. So your mother and you as a growing fetus did not have enough vitamin B9. Right. So, from what current data says, it looks like a B9 deficiency, a vitamin B9 deficiency. So many things can be traced back to vitamin and mineral deficiencies, and like it's like if you don't get enough vitamin B9, and it says right here. So there's multiple forms of vitamin B9, methylfolate and folic acid and there's another one. That's pretty much. Yeah, that's messed up. Okay, let's see. But so they put folic acid in our food. Yes, B9 is methylfolate, right? And it says here, but B9 is also folic acid in America. Yes, right. So that's what's weird. But when you take folic acid, your liver converts it to methylfolate, and that's the form of B9 that's active, that works in the body. So it's the B vitamins. What's up, Alec? So it's the B vitamins that have a lot to do with nerve health. Like B12 will regenerate the lining of nerves, the insulative layer on nerves. So like if listen, if you don't eat well, if you don't get the vitamins, especially if you don't eat beef, Hamzi, are you in a beef eating area? Is your family vegetarians or vegans or anything? The movie Trump will be a classic. Yeah. MTHFR gene is rating on. Yeah. So if your body that's the gene that will metabolize folic acid. And if you don't have that gene, then your body won't metabolize it. It won't turn it. It won't turn the folic acid and stuff like that into methylfolate. Right. So you need. This is why I don't think taking folic acid is such a kick-ass thing for me and my loved ones. I think your body wants methylfolate. That's what the cells want. Just because chemists came up with something that your liver will turn into something else. And pharmaceuticals companies do this all the time. They'll find something that they can patent, that they can give to you, that turn into something else in your body that your body actually needs, rather than just giving you the vitamin and or mineral. I'm 16 now, so it's pretty much over. What's been done is done. I hate feeling like less because there's others since birth, but I'm a carnivore literally. It doesn't hold me back much. Okay, good. Did they put you on B vitamins or vitamins, extra vitamins? So if you're eating beef, you're getting a good amount of B12 and whatnot, but it's difficult to get the rest of the B vitamins. It's just your body can do a lot of really kick-ass things to repair itself, and you'll have a brighter future. Just make sure you learn what your body needs, how it works. It won't take long, and I'll help, okay? So you can find out what you're supposed to get, what vitamins and minerals your body's supposed to get every day. And if you look at your diet and you say, okay, I'm not getting 3/4 of this stuff, then your body can't help you back. True, because they might have missed something to measure within the body, especially long term, because they don't care once they got that money. Natalie Hart wrote in the Ted's High Devotional Personal Trump where she called him his guardian and protector. My project isn't fully done and it's due in 2 days. I got the actual project done, but I haven't finished the video form of it and don't want to spend 4 hours a day to do the edit. Me cooked. Yeah, you're cooked. I was a week old at all. No, I mean now. Today. Are you not supplementing today? Do you? I can't prescribe. I can't tell you what to do. I can't give you medical advice, but I can give you some advice. Okay, look. Okay. All right. So one of the great things to look at is B50 and B100. B100 is a mix of all the B vitamins, and it can help get your guts back in order and give you what you need. And vitamin D is very important. Lots of sunlight, without sunscreen, stuff like that. I mean, it's Hart wrote, if you told me that you are all that matters to me. I told Trump she never wanted to let him down. He would be a fool not to hit. That's right there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see. So neural tube defects. Okay. Let's do that. Spina bifida and B12. And let's see if we got anything. Low vitamin B12 levels, particularly when interacting with impaired methadone synthase methylation pathways, increased risk of neural tube defects. So this is another B vitamin. It's another B vitamin that B12. It's what I for me, it was one of the most important things for me to get sorted out to repair. Yes, AZ brother. I looked at what natural sources of methylfolate, and they ended up giving a list of basically my favorite foods. Good. Yep, spinach, beet. I had spinach. I had beets for dinner tonight. Yeah, the K vitamin 2 in particular, vitamin K2, that's really important for cellular or for bone health. Absolutely, bone and teeth. Absolutely, getting plaques out of your bloodstream and brain and into the sunscreen lotions are not good. No, absolutely, they're not good. They're not good. We've been lied to. Because look, more people use sunscreen now than like in 1980, and skin cancers have gone up since 1980. So were they wrong? It seems like it. I was originally meant to die. Doctor said my mom returned after 3 months, so I'll die. But another doctor rushed. But my grandma said I'll sleep in the hospital corridor if you don't do anything. Well, that's nice of your grandma, brother. Good. Well, good. You're meant to be here, brother. You're meant to be here. And if you have any tingling in the legs and the extremities and stuff like that, that's called neuropathy. That can also happen from low B vitamins. But what is sure, as sure as we can be, is that spina bifida is caused, at least in part, by lack of particular B vitamins. So it would be if you were me, I would make sure I was getting all of the vitamins and minerals my body needs from my food if I could. If I can't, like look over your food. Look on your food. How much vitamin A? How much of the B vitamins? And whatever you might be missing, supplement with that if you have the weight to. That's what I would do. That's what I would tell people that I care for, my loved ones, to do. Absolutely. It's unbelievable how powerful the body is when you just give it what it needs. Beats for the win. That's right. She mentioned having women only duty looked at with the job. You guys are freaking crazy. But I was originally meant to fly when I was born. A wings doctor cut them off and gave them to my mom. Said you can't fly now. Aloe vera is very good. Yes, I grow a lot of aloe vera. Yes. Vitamin K2 moves the plaque that's in the bloodstream and the brain is the same. It's made out of the same stuff that teeth are made out of, hydroxyapatite plaques. And vitamin B12 will first of all, it's better to not have it happen, but having low vitamin K2 causes that to build up. K2 will move the calcium out of the bloodstream and soft tissues into the bone and the teeth. If you've got tooth plaque, that's usually a pretty good sign that you have low vitamin K2. I ate half a bag of walnuts yesterday the other day. I'm finished my B vitamins. I like me some freaking walnuts. I got 5 on it. Black walnut haul. I got some black walnut haul too. What up, Pap? Yeah, good to see you, brother. Trey, somebody mental illness in prison and position prison. All right, let's see. All right, let's go back here. If chronic pain, yeah. Symptoms and causes. Multiple sclerosis. Right. Yeah, that's a lot of low vitamin D. My buddy that's got multiple sclerosis, he takes like almost 100,000 IUs of vitamin D every day. I'm a gym rat, trained hard, eat hard. My diet's 8 eggs, 200 grams of chicken breast, 2 Greek yogurt. Okay, good. So you're getting good amount of potassium from the Greek yogurt. You're getting some little bit of vitamin D, but good calcium from the milk. Pasta. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good diet, brother. As a vitamin K2, the same thing. It tells vitamin D where to go. Vitamin D, yes, but it's calcium, not vitamin D. Vitamin D is what helps move calcium out of your intestines into the bloodstream. But if you don't have enough vitamin K2, the calcium just calcifies your bloodstream. It stays in your bloodstream, calcifying stuff. Vitamin K2 moves it out of the bloodstream into the teeth and bones. So low vitamin K2 it can be a cause of a lot of those plaques. And a baguette. Walnuts, cashews, and pistachio nuts are candy to me. I love them, dude. You know what I've been eating lately is macadamia nuts. I like them sons of bitches. Lightly salted, sea salted macadamia nuts. Put them in my mouth. Put them in my mouth. Talk to Barzini. All right, let's see where we're at. Let's find something interesting here. All right. All right, let's see what happened here.
Surgery a week ago. All seemed fine until she woke up, says Dorton's daughter-in-law, Christina Buell.
She has zero feeling, movement, or response to pain from her breastbone down. We don't know what
I'm planning to get some vitamin D, magnesium, and K2.
No,
That's very good. Potassium, very good for gains. Magnesium, very good for gain. So Hamzi, you're probably getting a good amount of potassium from that yogurt. That's probably the only big calcium source. I mean, potassium source. But and if you drink electrolytes, you might be getting potassium that way. But I didn't find out till I was in my late 40s that I wasn't getting anywhere near. And even a day after correcting my potassium deficiency, my life was pretty good. It got better. I was less tired, had more energy. And well, let's put it this way. I would get tired from like 10 minutes of work in the sun, just like moving around outside in the sun. Like, oh, frick, I gotta get out of the sun. It's draining me. I felt like it drained me. And now like within a day, I can work for like a half hour before getting there. And it feels like it's getting better every day. Brazil nuts are the worst, but they're so healthy for you. Yes, Brazil nuts are great. Selenium, one of the best sources of selenium. Another thing that most people don't have enough of. It's difficult to understand because I thought tooth plaques are basically calcified bacteria. No. So your gums, Dorjeen, are trying to remineralize your teeth. That's what your gums are trying to do. But without enough K2 and osteocalcin that K2 activates, that calcium can't absorb into the teeth. So it's just sitting there. And bacteria can be in there because you don't want it there. But if you have that, it's a pretty good sign of low K2. So yes, bacteria can be part of it and it can cause, but also people with tooth plaque have more cavities. But is that because the teeth aren't being remineralized properly without having enough vitamin K2? Listen, it's unbelievable, brother. You look into K2 and dental plaque, vitamin K2, vitamin K2 and dental plaque. 2 buckets of yogurt. I love that stuff, brother. I don't eat buckets. I eat about a cup a day. I love dates. I love kiwis. I'm starting to worry about hydroxyapatite toothpaste because it results in more plaque. I don't get it. If you don't have enough, if the hydroxyapatite toothpaste has K2 in it, then I think a lot of them do. And that's what actually does the help, because your teeth, your body can already make the hydroxyapatite. It's got to be able to get into the tooth. And that's what osteocalcins do. So I would guess that your hydroxyapatite toothpaste probably has K2 in it. I live in North Africa. All we have is the sun and premium when it gets 120 for real. Okay, yeah. Then you probably don't. But electrolytes, if you're getting a lot of sunlight, you might be losing a lot of sweat. And electrolytes, listen, it's very important. It's very important that everyone understands that you need sodium. But you hear bad things about sodium, too much salt, and that's often because you don't have enough potassium to go along with that sodium. Often doctors tell people to lower their salt intake when, in fact, depending on what they have, raising their potassium intake would make it overall better for the body. Yeah, brother. Yeah, listen. I highly recommend it. Look. Vitamin K2 and tooth plaque.
Vitamin K2 supports dental health by helping your body use calcium effectively. It directs calcium to your bones and teeth, preventing unwanted deposits. For medical advice or a diagnosis, consult a professional.
What up, Patterson? I eat a lot of almonds. Almonds are good too. I have to do strawberries. Most pesticides of all fruit. Yeah. I don't eat strawberries. They're busy with way of getting rid of bugs. Yeah. What up, Ocean Wave? And the jungle extreme heat. Marines are given salt pieces to liquid dehydrate. Right. And those probably aren't just table salt. They're probably electrolyte tablets. They're probably potassium, magnesium, and sodium, I would suspect. I stay hydrated. We're Flintstone. We are Flintstone kids. 10 million strong and growing. Salt is super important. The salts, potassium salts, magnesium salts, and table salt, sodium chloride salt, unbelievably important. Every single one of your cells needs sodium and potassium at good levels to work properly. And your kidneys will typically get rid of the extra. If you've got enough potassium, it'll get rid of the sodium. If you got, yeah. Regarding sodium, would eating banana be potassium? You need 8 bananas a day, every day, to hit your daily potassium. 8. That's how short most people are. Most people don't even, they think eating a banana a day or a few a week, and that's got, no. You're still super in the red. Super in the red. Unbelievable. And I didn't find this all out till recently. I actually take a pure, well, not pure, it's sodium glycinate. Yeah. Now I pill them up myself because my mother's on it, my father's on it too, and they've also noticed a huge difference just in about 2 or 3 days. So why is grandma put the spoon salt or water? Yes, that's why. Yes, that's why. Especially if you're in North Africa, brother, you're sweating a lot. That means your body's getting rid of a lot of it, and you got to put it back in. Well water used to have more magnesium and potassium and sodium in it. Not as much sodium, but we got a lot of sodium from our food. So we would drink well water that would have those dissolved minerals in it. When you drink bottled water and tap water, that's filtered, so it doesn't have them in it anymore. That's one of the reasons we got problems with it. Doctors say reduce sodium, but they're often wrong. Right. But often it's not that you need lower sodium. It's you need more potassium. It's the ratio of potassium to sodium. But the doctors just say lower your sodium. You need very long bananas. What up, my butters? Sea salt is the best version, not table salt. Almonds have oxalates. Yep, you got to watch out for some oxalates. The salt can actually lower the freezing temperature of water. That's true. What up, Spruzelberries? So many want to be, so maybe she wants cold water. Magnesium glycinate, 600. I take about 900 milligrams, but I take 2 450 milligram capsules. I fill them myself. I get a half kilo of potassium glycinate, and I bag them up myself. I pill them up myself. Not magnesium glycinate, potassium gluconate. Sorry, potassium gluconate. I take magnesium glycinate at night. I take 220. I take 300 magnesium glycinate. I take 300 milligrams at night. 322. We are primates, so 8 bananas makes sense, right? And most humans don't get anywhere close to what they need. After 7 bananas, you might skip dinner, right? B3, careful, well water though, some wells could measure. Sure. I'm just saying the way us as humans used to get our minerals versus how we get them now. Them plantains. One thing I'm impressed with, my grandmother never went to school, and she knows a lot about what I would do with her body. And I think that's I didn't do good in school. I didn't graduate. I only went to college for a semester. So I didn't want to be stupid. So I learned this stuff on my own. And I think a lot of people, when they go to school and they get degrees, they think that they have the information, and they don't realize how little information they actually have. What up, Big Boss? What up, Raid? Trader cooked in thermal, more healthy. Mangoes are high in potassium. I don't eat mangoes. Other potassium sources, beef, avocado, processed. Right, but they're very low. So you need approximately 4,000 milligrams. So 4 full grams, 4,000 milligrams, okay? And look how low the doses are. Potassium in food.
Potassium is important for your heart,
so a baked
nerves,
potato
and muscles.
with the
Adults
skin.
generally need between 2,600
That's
and
women.
3,400 milligrams
That's men.
daily. Good sources include baked potatoes, spinach, white beans, yogurt, salmon, and bananas.
Right.
Other options are fruits, vegetables, beans, milk, and fish.
So you would need to get 3,400 milligrams a day. You have to eat about 8 bananas a day. You would have to eat about 18 ounces of salmon. You would have to eat 7 or 8 cups of yogurt. You would need 3 cups of white beans. You understand what levels we're getting at? And this is every day. Every day. B6 and 12 are good for your nerves. Yes, absolutely. I take methylfolate and methylcobalamin. That's 5,000 micrograms. That's 200,000%. The daily vitamin, daily recommended B12. But I don't take it every day anymore after I filled up my stores. Carrots, they're good for the eyes. Cooked beet greens have 1,300 milligrams per cup. That's really freaking good. Hit that like button. There you go, brother. Yeah, so it's unbelievable how little the potassium we get from our food unless you eat a lot of this. But then you're not, if even if you were to fill up, get all of your calories from these high potassium foods, you wouldn't have room in your diet to get the other vitamins and minerals you need every day. All right. What am I missing here?
Buell says her mother-in-law was supposed to get anesthetic through a spinal shot.
Oops.
Instead, she was injected with potassium.
She was having a
Potassium.
reaction. She was like itchy.
So they injected potassium into her spine.
She said her whole
I love
body was
beans,
burning.
the magical
The
fruit.
Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and state health officials are investigating. Tonight, in a statement, the hospital says it was an isolated medication
isolated
error in
into
its
her
pharmacy.
spine.
4 patients mistakenly received potassium phosphate
Instead of opiates.
instead of an anesthetic. It has implemented new safety protocols.
So the guy in the pharmacy was like, "Oh, they're getting this much freaking dope. Let me just put some potassium in there." That's probably what happened. Because how do you mess this up in 2026? All of those things are barcoded. Everything's getting scanned. Every cc you're taking out of every freaking vial, every freaking milligram or more or less, that microgram of opioid is all being So they swapped it.
High alert medications. While tragic, such mishaps are very rare, says Dr. Kuldip Patel of Duke University Health System.
Cool Dick Patel? Did she say Cool Dick Patel?
While tragic, such mishaps are very rare, says Dr. Kuldip Patel of Duke University Health System.
Typically, when events like this happen, it's not a singular individual.
She put a
or
pill
single misstep.
absurdity
It's
in
usually
it
a
while bacon,
series
beef,
of
bland,
different,
old animals meant to be
things that
chewy but hard, but
potentially
turns
have
out
gone
good. Just turns
wrong.
out buttery.
Christina Buell tells our
I've never heard
affiliate
of it.
WSMV that what happened to her mother-in-law is unthinkable. But the once active 72-year-old
Dookie
is
University.
resilient.
Honestly, she is handling
Right.
anybody.
So what probably happened is the pharmacist took the freaking dope, and then potassium is not going to be is not a controlled substance. So they were like, "Here you go. This is what you need to put in her IV," and they were like, "No, it's going in her spine." Dookie University. Dookie. What was I doing? I forgot. Oh. That's the end. Over-the-counter aspirin. Oh, so it's aspirin. It's salicylic acid. It's acetyl salicylic acid. So it's like Bayer aspirin, not Bayer, B-A-Y-E-R aspirin. So aspirin is salicylic acid. And Bayer, because they wanted to patent it, buffered it and used acetyl salicylic acid. They acetylated aspirin, and then Patel sounds like somebody that owns a motel. Yeah, they are the #1 family name of motel owners. So Duke, I says Duke. Yeah, so that's weird. So she uses aspirin. Hamzy. Oh, it also has effervescence in it, so it's probably got salt. Okay, so it's also got vitamin C. Yeah, there you go. That should do it. Dr. Patel definitely tells his patients to please come again. Please come again. Right, you'll definitely be coming again. You'll definitely be. Okay, hit that like button. Help a brother out. Where are we at? India's power crisis. Jeez. We ain't never seen a fire like this. Man, yes, we have. That's right. Cash Patel, right. I forgot all about that. Another congressman quits. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, Karen Solomon. Yeah, to say to no, I'm not doing that. No money and actually people helping through medicines and world medical industry. How does that turn chewy meat into good food? I've never heard about I'm guessing the acids do something to the actual meat. I like tenderize it, like how, you know, like meat tenderizer. Let's see. Let's see what we can find. Vitamin C as meat tenderizer.
Vitamin C, or ascorbic acid, works mainly as an antioxidant and to keep the color of meat stable.
And it's
not as a
safe.
direct
Yeah, it's
meat
safe.
tenderizer.
Yeah. The medicines this field's attracting mainly prestige-hungry, money-hungry psychopaths. Most of them don't care about. That's right. And the big problem with that is the debt, the student loan, student aid debt, that comes along with 12 years of college is so huge that a lot of the psychopaths that make it that far are willing to do whatever they need to do in medicine to make as much money as possible and prescribe as many pills as possible as they need to get as much kickbacks as they can get to get that student loan cleared out so that they can start making money. That's the problem. Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard. Yes, psychopaths. Chinese restaurants are based baking soda. Oldest trick in the book. I bet you there's baking soda in that. I bet you there's baking soda in that too. Can I get $250,000 for college? Can't get $10K to start a smooth business. I agree. It's freaking stupid. It's so stupid. We should be offering to the kids that come out of high school that aren't going to college should have a financial aid to help them with their lives. If we can give $250,000 for fart sniffing school, taking classes for just dumb stuff that doesn't have an industry on the other side of it, then why can't we help these kids with 30-year loans to do something else? 10, like force them. Like E-Man, why not say, okay, go to SBA.gov, fill out a business plan, and if it isn't like I'm just going to buy hookers and coke with the money, then you can get a loan. Like at least if you did that, if you wrote, then they should. This is the stuff that should happen because we need more companies. We lost a lot of small business during COVID, a lot. So yeah, absolutely. I agree. When I'm president, we're going to change that. Oldest chicken in the book. Yeah, they pay for college. Yeah, we in America, yeah, it's college/university. Yes, it is a for-profit company. So Chinese students tenderize other people with baking soda. They trick you into thinking you're getting expensive. I remember middle school, I was doing metal shop, screen printing photo. Me too. I don't know where you went. I went to Glen Burnie Senior High School, and even so we had, it was called industrial arts when we did photo developing, screen printing, and even VHS video recording and editing. We did metal shop, wood shop. The year before I went to high school, they had driver's ed still in high school. Plenty of grants and scholarships out there. Never tell anyone about, right? But the rich, their kids will get them because they know where to apply. And they know people. Yeah. You have. People don't know. It's our education system's the problem. I took photography and screen printing in high school. R.I.P. the good old days. I agree. R.I.P. the good old days. Because they apply. Right. Because they know it exists. Like, I was about to go somewhere stupid with that, but yes, because they know it exists. What up, crying fish? Hey, Rich chat. Think I definitely have potassium deficiency. My blood pressure is 145 over 100. When I work, my shirt pants get loaded with salt. Really? Like you can see salt crust on your sweat? Yeah, it sounds like it. Would you move where would you move if you were to leave the U.S.? I wouldn't leave the U.S.
If I had to, if I was getting deported, Luxembourg. I'll be right back. Luxembourg. Rich Man, Poor Man. Good book. Good book. The Pell Grant is the most underutilized grant we have. Listen. It's preach, my brother. They've heard of eliminated a lot of art programs, even grade school. Okay, let me get this out there.
Welcome back, everyone, here worldwide for you on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Always great to be with you as we continue to roll on. We want to continue to get the updates coming out of Reno, Nevada. The massive Hawk fire continues from this weekend. I want to bring in right now on the ground from KTVU, Zach Sauce made the drive over from the Bay Area now to where this wildfire is. And Zach, if you could just explain to our viewers what the drive like was when you were coming and what you were seeing, and now what it's like on the ground there.
Yeah, Luxembourg's not good anymore.
Well, I have to admit, we were expecting to see a lot more smoke given the massive size of this fire, sitting at around 15,000 acres. That's around 23 square miles. I think you have to give credit to the firefighters today who've made a lot of progress. Over the weekend, this fire was sitting at around 0% containment, now at around 27% containment.
That's a lot. That's 27% more than zero. I'm looking for estimates. It's a blood pressure right now. Just saying that's why. Right. And like I don't know if you. I mean, you're probably talking about from previous stream yesterday, but we talked about it today too. And a lot of that problem is why you hold on to a lot of sodium, is because you need more potassium. And the thing is, a lot of doctors these days will tell you to lower your sodium intake rather than raising your potassium intake. But if you're getting rid of all that, right, that's one of the huge things. How much is rent in Vatican City? All the money. All the money.
Across the California line into Nevada, probably about 10 miles west of Reno. Really not a lot of smoke to report. As we got closer, you really could start to see that smoke, and you really got a sense of the scale of this fire. I just want to step out of the way so you can get a better look at what they're dealing with right now. That entire hillside off in the distance. This is
just a soul, a
probably
simple soul.
Northwest of downtown Reno, a few miles northwest
high school,
of downtown Reno. We are still in city
free. You can pay for cafeteria,
Reno proper right now. You can see the hot spots that they are still tackling there. So
3.5 cents a day?
Still ahead to really get this fully under control. They're hoping for certainly that the wind will cooperate. That has been one of the challenges they've been facing, as well as the really dry conditions here and the high heat overnight. It drops down to 60, so that has helped them a lot in this environment. But during the day, it goes into the 90s. So perfect weather to really continue to aggravate this fire.
Yeah, we get it. I can't lower my sodium intakes. I feel weak when I do. Yeah, listen. Often what you can find, I think, is potassium citrate. But whatever, whatever. I went to an actual lab that actually makes the supplements, and I can get a half a kilo. That's what I got. So I could pill them up myself. But yeah, if you're having blood pressure problems, something like that, I would definitely talk to your doctor about adding potassium. Absolutely. Listen, I thought life was going pretty good. I just thought the sun was exhausting me because I was getting old, and it changed in a day, 2 days. Heck, it's still getting better. What's free with the Vatican? He probably had to blow up. Cuba's a mess. Tahoe was right next to Reno. U.S. is lucky Putin did not plant rockets in Havana yet. There's a casino in Reno. Half of it's Tahoe. You can only gamble in that. So, wow. I think I knew that. I think I do that. All right. Let's see what else is going on. Band together. Uh-oh. 7-Eleven store set on fire in Thailand. Residents yelling at the patients. Illegals burst into tears. These are the most dangerous drugs in the world. IQ debate. Buffers. Let's talk about people defending false advertising on ads. Greeting a weather system. Problem with sharpness testers. 3 speed work for Democrats. Just found out what AI is actually for. Chris Louis C.K. Something is seriously wrong with fast food. I've seen them. They're mad. The kind of humans handle. Okay. When I fasted for 4 days, about passed out at one point. Read online a little. Get a little sodium. I ate a little spoonful of salt lily. Feel like I got zapped, perked up so quick. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing how that works? Yeah. Listen, there's a reason warriors and stuff were paid in salt back in the day. You know, for 3.5 cents, you get a chicken piece like drumstick, sweet yogurt, couscous, or local meals, good portions, and it changes every day of the week. The motto is here: no excuse not to study. Yeah, it's a good motto. There's no direct supply line from Cuba to Russia. The U.S. to intercept it. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. All right, this is pretty long. So
right now, my heart is beating almost 100 beats per minute faster than normal. I'm sweating fast enough that I could lose up to a liter of fluid an hour. If I stay in this room for too long without cooling down, I could die.
I'm in the middle of an experiment to test the human body's ability to deal with extreme heat. This room is hot, like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I've been in temps like this before, but that's not the worst part.
The killer is the humidity. At this humidity level, my sweat just can't evaporate. My body's cooling system just isn't functioning like it's supposed to. Conditions like these already happen regularly for hundreds of millions of people on Earth. And according to scientists, it's coming for more of us faster than we can even guess.
I'm stepping into this heat research lab to show you what happens to our bodies when we experience extreme heat.
She
how
doesn't
we
look
build
like
our
she's
world
sweating.
in ways
Yeah,
that
it's a
doom
lot of
some
sweat.
people to deadly heat, and how we can fix it.
Yeah, this is
how
what's
the
going
one
on in
number
the
we've
Middle
been
East.
using to tell us how hot was too hot is wrong.
And I'm already regretting it.
Right, if they just change the science. Like, if the science says that everybody dies at 108 degrees, just change the science. Bump it up to 110, and then people won't die at 108 anymore. It's that easy. It's that easy, right? Because obviously they were wrong about it until now. Now they've been telling everybody, if you get to 58.3 degrees Celsius, you'll all die. Oh, man, I guess we were wrong. I've been on the hottest place on Earth. I did not sweat like that. PBS. Public Broadcasting Service System. I thought he had his own channel right of his own. My country has the first official working knowledge woman doctor in the whole of Africa. We have a bill. We have a face. We have her face on a bill. Money. We have money with her face on the bill. Gotcha. I believe it was 123. That's pretty hot. That's pretty hot. Just change the science. Just change the science, and as long as you keep trusting it, it'll be true. Because it's probably the stress that kills you. You're staring, you're like, oh my God, the science says I'm going to die at 108 degrees, and it's 107.8.
Hey, smart people.
Hey,
Joe here.
talking to us.
The world is hotter than it used to be.
As far
That's
as you know.
just a fact. Average global temperatures are about 1.2 degrees Celsius hotter over the past 50 years. That might not sound like much, but 1 in 4 heat waves since the year 2000 would have been impossible without climate change. More humans are experiencing extreme conditions
Depressing.
more
I'm gonna say a
often
guy in the
and
video
for longer.
thought he had his own
So,
channel.
just how
It's always been this. It's always been PBS. Yeah, when he first came on 10 years ago or whatever. Yeah, it was PBS Digital.
dangerous is extreme heat. If you look up data on how many people die from extreme temperatures, you actually find something curious.
They're wrong.
Cold-related deaths outnumber deaths from heat by a pretty good margin. Or So it seems. This data obscures something really
data
crucial.
can do that?
Most deaths that we attribute to temperature happen in this moderate cold zone. And that's for a simple reason. It isn't that moderate cold is secretly dangerous or something. It's just those are the conditions people spend the most time in.
So
the
that's
truth
when they
is,
die?
a person's risk of death or
Mandela
injury
effect,
goes
yeah.
up way faster in hotter
What
temperatures
type of stocks
compared
are
to cold.
situated where you go
In the
to?
U.S., heat.
So solar I'll tell you what, solar paneling for the Middle East is going to be huge. Solar paneling and air conditioning system companies, large like large producers like Mitsubishi, Mr. Cool, those companies that make those like split system window units or air conditioning units, those because they're going to be and battery companies, of course. There's going to be a lot of solar panels and a lot of cooling stations added to the Middle East. They're going to have to blanket the place in it. I didn't realize you could lie when presenting data. Yeah, welcome to politics. 2 weeks ago it was 48 Celsius. Another week, a little hot week. We had a little bit of sweat, a fan, but you're good for a nap. Yep, AC, absolutely, brother. And think about how much of Europe doesn't have air conditioning. And they're talking about like, oh, we don't have air conditioning because, yeah, well, you're going to.
And heat waves are the leading cause of weather-related death. They've killed more people over the past 30 years than hurricanes and tornadoes combined. And in some places, heat waves are becoming literally unsurvivable. At certain temperatures, the human body gets so hot that it shuts down. Then it's game over. But what is it about heat that can be so uniquely dangerous for our bodies? And what can we do to make it safer to live in a hotter world?
Air conditioning.
In 200001, all-pro offensive lineman Corey Stringer was working out in full paths when the heat index hit.
Well, and a lot of people die there. And I'm talking about the people that actually need the help. The people that are out in the towns, in the small towns in the middle, like raising freaking camels and whatnot. They're either going to all die off or they're going to get help from world governments and the WHO and stuff like that. Some European countries don't have infrastructure to support air conditioning. Right. That's why they're going to need solar panels and batteries, because they're only going to need the air conditioning during the day, during the hottest part of the day when they have the most sun. Indiana, what up, Romans? Some places have no electricity. Yeah. I was talking to somebody in here that lived in Indiana, was telling me about it. The whole green. Yeah. Do you what do you we need to build underground much colder. I agree. What happened on October 7th in Israel? Do I mourn it? I didn't know anybody. I think just like everybody dying, it's a pretty fucked up thing.
At 110 degrees. He began to feel sick, but by the time that trainers realized what was happening, his body temperature had reached 108 degrees, and he later died. Corey's survivors established this research lab dedicated to preventing sudden death from heat. And that's where I came to sweat it out and learn from researchers like Becca what happens to our bodies in extreme conditions.
We were founded with the mission and goal to not only enhance performance in health and safety and prevent catastrophic injuries for athletes, but also for soldiers and warfighters and laborers. Heat is one of the top threats to all of those individuals.
Now, all of us spend at least part of our lives living, working, or playing outside. And as we crank up the world's heat, those things become more dangerous.
I think the surprising thing that always catches people off guard is that when you look at the top causes of sudden death in sport, heat is in the top 4. And those 4 top causes, just 4 alone, make up 90% of the deaths that we see.
Extreme heat has extreme consequences on our bodies. To figure out what those consequences are, I've got to get on a bike. This bike will be my home for the day. First, we need to set a baseline. So
fascinates me. If someone from the West went to my country in summer, they could die. I only feel a little heat, and I kind of be freezing. Yeah, right. It's conditioning. Some people's bodies, can handle it, and especially like you have people that have different fats in their body, and their body can't handle it. They can't handle the swings. Some people's bodies can do it much better. Corey London from Dual Survival built a very cool temperature regulating home. Somebody made a shirt too that had some paint on it or something, like heat reflecting paint or something. What up, Dr. Wiener? Yeah, I did. Papa Bear.
Set the room to conditions you'd feel on a nice, comfortable spring day.
It's like perfect conditions. I can do this for hours. Easy peasy.
But let's take a look at what's going on in my body when I start to get active. When I start contracting my muscles to spin the pedals, my cells start burning more energy. Every cell in our bodies runs on a molecule called ATP. It's the main energy source that keeps our muscles moving, our brains working, and our hearts beating. Your cells have a powerhouse
All right, we'll take a look
called
at it.
the mitochondria. They're like little factories that turn glucose and oxygen into ATP, charging up our cells' batteries.
This is why creatine is so good for bodybuilders and people in general. So creatine stored in the body is creatine phosphate. That's where ATP, adenosine triphosphate, can get the phosphate atoms from creatine. Don't do that.
To convert that energy into movement, I have to chemically rip that ATP apart.
We're actually not really that efficient in terms of how we use our energy. So anytime we have that muscle contraction, about 80% of the byproduct of that contraction is going to be heat.
No matter if you're body maxing or bed rotting or whatever, our bodies are always
or reference
making and
house
burning
120
ATP.
Fahrenheit for you
But
Americans.
when you're
It's a 7 out of
exercising,
10.
that burn rate
we don't see 120 here very often at all. Yeah, it's very effective. I take 10 grams a day. Yeah, it's very effective. What up, Husafel? How you doing, brother? I just sent you a message. I just sent a message to the coke guy. I hope he's sleeping. You hope he's sleeping, right? Yeah, you better hope so you don't end up spending too much money.
goes way up, and so does the amount of heat that you produce. We're like little locomotives, burning fuel to create heat and then turn that into work.
Yeah,
and that is what's
All right,
happening.
hold on, let's check this real quick. That's just saying. Highest recorded temperatures in the United States. Not Borden, highest.
The current temperature in Borden, Indiana is 64 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy conditions.
I take 10 grams. Yeah, that's what I do, brother. Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you get older, it's very, very interesting how the more you learn about what the freaking body, the human freaking body actually needs, you know, the human body, the thing you're driving around this planet in, like you find what it actually needs, and then you give it to it, like the differences that it can make. Death Valley, yeah. Death Valley is 120, the hottest place, yeah. So the other one, so 115. So we don't see 120 here at all, like in the populated areas. Hamzi. Does creatine help with lactic acid buildup in the muscles? So here, we'll do this. We'll do this.
Creatine and lactic acid.
Not creating.
Lactic acid forms when cells or bacteria convert sugar into energy.
Damn it, I can't spell. There you go. So creatine delays your body's shift to the energy system that produces lactic acid. So it doesn't allow it to build up as quickly. And it allows you to recover quicker. So you don't build lactic acid up as quickly when you're working out. Also, sleep deprivation or like exhaustion, the mental issues from sleep deprivations can be offset by creatine. If you have high enough blood creatine, you don't have the mental effects of going like 18, 20 like, without sleep. Peptides, I need to expand the vegetation edges of those areas. Yeah, they absolutely freaking need to. Wouldn't it be possible? So the big problem is the water. The water. They don't have enough water to grow the vegetation. Lactic acid helps build muscles, so it's a signaling molecule. Right. So, but if you want, it's a double-edged sword, and it's also two sides of the same coin. You'll be able to work out more with less fatigue. So you might grow muscles slower, but you'll be able to work out more to grow the muscles bigger also. So it works both ways. Like if you need to work out before going to work and you don't want to be as sore, a good amount of creatine can help with that. But if your job is weightlifting, then yeah.
Now.
I mean, the sweat's starting, the activity's up, but it's comfortable. Warm but comfortable. A little dab.
The contraction of my skeletal muscles as I pedal can burn 20 times more ATP than if I was just vegging out on the couch. And all of that heat is going to be absorbed by my cells and blood, raising my internal body temperature up way past my ideal temperature. That could get dangerous unless my body can figure out a way to get rid of that extra heat and cool itself down.
Your body not only has to fuel this exercise, it also has to cool your body at the same time. So the blood flow not only goes to your muscles, it now goes to your skin, because skin, sweat, and evaporation of that sweat is the main mechanism we use to dissipate heat.
So right now, nerve cells called thermoreceptors sense that my internal heat is cranking up.
They're
shooting a message to my brain's thermometer.
The nerve cell there called thermoreceptors. Here it comes off in the summer, 3 weeks out, like 100 Fahrenheit plus or minus. Today, Google says 110 Fahrenheit, 160 Fahrenheit, not at all, actually, but annoying it dry. Right, so they also have what's called real feel, which means what it feels like, but not with the actual temperature. So you have what's called wet bulb and dry bulb temperature reading. So if you have a thermometer, just a regular thermometer, and you hold it out and you read the temperature of the air, you're getting a reading. But if you wrap like a little piece of cloth that's wet, it can transfer heat into it more like how a body feels the energy. He said it's my only complaint. Stick your tongue out and breathe hard. He lives in North Africa. They got the problem with the thermoreceptors.
Tells my body it's time to shed some heat. I send unconscious signals to my blood vessels, telling them to expand and route warm blood toward my skin to start the cooling process.
Your body is made up of a large portion of water, and that water can have it in all these different compartments. So the water in your blood is what is feeding your sweat to your skin.
Our sweat is 99% water and 1% other.
And how do you get that water out of your blood out of your skin, from the inside of your blood vessels to the outside of your skin? You need electrolytes. You need salt gradients so that it can travel through the membranes. That's why stuff
like
there you go. Potassium, sodium, potassium are the big two. So sodium and potassium operate the pumps inside of the cells, but you use the magnesium as like a triggering source, a triggering energy. Drink water, mate. Water. When I used to lift heavy weights, I would lift 1 rep, rest 1 minute, repeat 8 to 10 reps. Got strong. Hey, that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah, lift up heavy stuff and put it down. Rinse and repeat.
Sodium, potassium, other trace minerals, even stuff like proteins, steroids, hormones, and waste products. Sweat glands move this watery mix up to the surface of my skin to basically turn my body into an air conditioner. When that sweat hits the open air, the water can evaporate. As water molecules make the jump from liquid to gas, they need a boost to move faster. And that comes from heat energy that they take with them as they evaporate. The heat that was in my body gets released into the environment around me, cooling me off in the process.
But when that balances out, when the room becomes body temperature warmer.
Maybe not all day, but it's comfortable. Like I can feel my body cooling off. It feels great.
But what happens when my body's evaporation cooling system can't work? What makes this next test dangerous isn't just biking in heat. It's this number, the wet bulb temperature.
Wet bulb.
It's a better way to determine how dangerous extremely hot conditions really are. Wet bulb temperatures give us a sense of how much evaporation and cooling can happen at a specific temperature and humidity level. See, when humidity's low, evaporative cooling makes the temperature that you actually feel lower than the temperature of the air around you. Sweating is a pretty amazing trick. But as the humidity goes up, the air is more saturated with water and less evaporation can happen, so that means less cooling. It's why 95 degrees in the desert feels a lot less awful than 95 degrees in Austin. For a long time, scientists believed that 95 degrees Fahrenheit with 100% humidity is the temperature at which our internal air conditioning system stops functioning. It's like our limit. And for years, we assumed that about 6 hours of activity in those.
So I do a lot of drop sets, lift a lot, go lighter, then till failure, then again, then rest for 3 minutes. Got strong, but not big for some reason. Hey, listen, getting big takes a little while, brother. You got to make sure you give your body the proteins and the actual materials to do that. And it does take the body a little while. You're 16, so you're still pretty young. You've got a lot of hormonal adjustments to go through before your body will start to react the way you probably want it to. So you probably got at least another 2 to 3, probably like 9 more years. But and be careful, especially if there's people offering you steroids, because you'll whack your body out if you do them too young. And I wouldn't suggest doing them at all. But yeah, just enjoy the trip, enjoy the ride. You know, you'll see your gains, especially when your body catches up with itself. Your body going through. I'm sure you just went through your growth spurt and whatnot. So your body's going to have to kind of rest before it will go into a big bulk. Yeah, I mentioned that to him earlier.
Conditions was the limit of what humans could
He
survive.
also was born with spina bifida, which is like a B vitamins B6 deficiency. I started a bit over 13, started 116 pounds, so 159, maintaining abs. Yeah, maintain them abs, brother. That's all you really need. Good set of abs. You'll be fine. Life will be great.
But that changed in 2022. Scientists found that with enough humidity, our bodies lose the ability to cool down at much lower temperatures, just 79 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit on the wet bulb scale. That is way lower than we originally thought. And it means that on an 80-degree day at 80% humidity, even a young, healthy adult could suffer a fatal heat stroke in as little as 6 hours. But calculating that danger threshold on paper is one thing. What does it look like to put my body to the test in the most extreme heat and humidity conditions? That's what we're gonna test next.
This is the before shot. Look how dry I am. Look how comfortable. Let's see what the hot one feels like.
For this test, things are gonna go a lot differently. The temperature in this room is set to 100 degrees, and we're pumping up the humidity to 60%. So the wet bulb temperature is at about 99.5, which means my body's heat regulating systems aren't going to work. It puts us right here, squarely in the danger zone.
Overteen.
Normally, in these conditions,
Dr. Wiener says, overteen. Overtime. Freaking overtime.
special recommendation is stay inside. Don't do this, but I'm doing it anyway.
But I'll be under careful medical supervision, ready to stop the test if I get too hot. It doesn't take long before this test starts going differently than the first one.
We're holding a hair under 20 miles an hour. You can feel the heat instantly. We're only a couple minutes in. I'm full on sweating. There's no turning back now.
My brain is sending the same signals to my blood vessels and sweat glands. My body's trying to do what it evolved to do, use water to get heat from inside my raging inferno of a body to the outside so that I don't overheat.
What up, fat bong,
This is a strange
brother?
sensation because like the exertion is not that hard.
On
It's
my
just
bulk,
so
I eat
hot.
about 180
like
grams
even my
of protein,
palms are
about
hot.
216 grams
Because of all
carbs,
that
a bit over
humidity,
100 grams
my
of fiber.
sweat can't evaporate.
There's sweat coming out of every pore in my body right now.
Yeah,
it's like there's a faucet hooked up to my.
Yeah, I can. I thought it was being funny. I was being funny. I was laughing so hard at myself, Kelvin, when I right before I filmed it that like I was laughing to the point of crying. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. And I was like, okay, I got these tears in my eyes. I got to start filming this. It was so funny. I wanted to do like an anti-manly type vulnerability thing. I thought it was funny. Thank you.
My forehead. None of it is evaporating.
My body isn't cooling off, so my core temperature starts to climb, and my body keeps dumping out more water in a futile effort to cool off. I'm also losing electrolytes, critical for making sure that your body systems stay in balance, like the electrical signals that keep your heart.
Right, electrolytes. That's like he was about to say. The signals that give for your heart and your muscles, they all use potassium and sodium. So sometimes people say your salt's too high. Doctors will say your salt's too high. Sometimes or they'll say your sodium's too high. it's often because your potassium's too low. And this is what I don't know if that's what he's going to go into or not, but it has to do, like, if you're constipated regularly and stuff like that, that can be too low of potassium, because the muscles that move the freaking bolus and turds through your intestines just don't have that. It's more important to keep your heart beating so it doesn't use that. I'm lifting freak. My friends call me coach because I'm too much passionate about it. But Natty's the way to go. Good. Keep that mindset, brother. Keep it. Listen. You're going. The devil will approach you and will say, "Hey, Hamzy, you want the girls? You want the big muscles? You want the freaking little bit of synthol here and there, a little bit of freaking trembling. Don't do it. It's the devil. I'm telling you, brother. It's the devil."
Pumping and your muscles moving.
Oh, hey, we're almost 30 minutes in. Time flies when you're having fun.
I'm drinking water, but at this point, my body's losing water and electrolytes faster than I can absorb them back. As your blood loses water volume, it thickens up. That means your body has to work even harder to pump that blood around and get oxygen to your muscles and brain.
Dehydrated.
How long can I keep this
Carbs
up?
and lots of salt for
We're
working
officially
out.
in the
Salt is the best
power
workout.
through it zone of the workout.
Listen,
I'm definitely getting tired, but 10
Unbelievable.
more minutes, I can do this.
As my internal body temperature keeps rising, losing the water and electrolytes I need to function, my body could soon start to shut down. That means headaches, dizziness, cramps, vomiting. Those symptoms can spread to your brain, including confusion, delirium, loss of consciousness, eventually even death. But not today.
Oh my God, my shirt is so heavy. I think this is it. This is as much sweat as I could physically make. The athletic exertion,
CBT
like how
ate
hard I
2
was trying,
belts. She's
the
a
body
hungry
just starts
girl.
freaking out. Brain stops working.
Girls that even
I didn't know it
enjoy
was
seeing
physically
pop
possible.
Good.
To sweat this much.
Good.
I did a
You'll be
reaction
all right.
test
You'll be all
after
right,
each
right?
session, cold and hot. You
Remember,
can see the
depression can be low B vitamins too, so it might be something you want to look into, brother.
effects of dehydration and elevated body temperature on my brain function. I'm slower and less accurate.
I can't talk. This requires every bit of focus I have in my entire brain. I can feel the exhaustion setting in. How much longer do I have? Oh my God.
During the extreme heat test, I was losing sweat at 3 liters an hour.
What up,
Even
Stumbles?
with
I got
what
my
I
potassium.
drank, I
3
lost
big
more than a
grams. Yeah,
kilogram of
that's good. That's about 3 grams of potassium. Yeah, that's good. That's still less than what you're supposed to get a day, but you might have gotten some throughout the day too. But isn't that crazy? That's like a lot to eat 8 bananas or 3 full baked potatoes with the skin. By the way, I personally find big muscles slow. I prefer calisthenic workouts. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm 6'4". I'm not getting big.
That's more than 1% of my body weight. My heart rate got within a few beats of my absolute max. And my body temperature was just a few tenths of a degree away from us having to pull the plug to avoid potential damage to my organs and, you know, my big brain. And it could have been even worse because I'm actually well acclimated to heat.
If you have a lot of sweat, it's a sign that you're fit. It's also a sign that you're acclimatized or used to working out in the heat and your body knows how to handle it. So you want to sweat.
There you go, Hamzy. See,
I live in a hot place, Texas.
You learn 5'6", getting big while yeah, you'll be fine, brother. So how your body sweats under heat and if it's used to it. So like big fat people will overheat quicker, even though they have more skin to evaporate more water. You know, they burn down really easy. I'm 6'1", raised on a farm. Big muscles make it harder to lift bales an hour on end, make it crawl into tight spots if you need to run from an aggressive animal. Yeah, I just sweat getting to work, snuffled.
And I'm really active. So my body's cooling system knows how to respond already, or at least try to respond. That means I am better suited to an experiment like this one than someone who lives in somewhere like Canada or Northern Europe, places where conditions rarely or never reach these extremes.
When you become acclimatized to a hot environment, your body will adapt and have this ability to better prepare itself for that heat stress.
Is it acclimatized?
And thanks to research from scientists
Is the word acclimatized? I thought it was acclimated. Acclimatized? Acclimatized.
Being climatized means having controlled temperatures or being naturally adapted to a specific climate.
But that's climatized. Is it a climate? I thought it was acclimated. You sweat in the house? You won't find any reach today or a PTO hit you on jam. Forearms too thick.
Like these, we're learning a lot about how we can help people adapt to heat and stay safer. The good news is our bodies can acclimate to heat surprisingly quickly if done carefully. As little as 1 to 2 weeks of acclimation, and our bodies can learn to better react to extreme heat conditions.
One of the really cool features of heat acclimatization is that your body will retain
Acclimatization.
and
Said acclimatization. I guess it
so you're not losing as much when you're acclimatized.
Heat adaptation leads to some really weird body changes. The plasma volume of your blood goes up 10 to 25%, so that you literally have more fluid available to lose through sweating. And you start sweating earlier and sweating more. Your heart rate for the same effort drops, and your core temperature rises more slowly.
There you go, Dr. Wiener.
These are
I
all
don't
things
sweat
that help
that
you
much,
stay
actually, in the
cooler
face for some reason.
longer.
That's actually a thing, brother. That's actually a thing. Hold on. Brother, I just learned about this the other day. No. So I'll have to find it, but it's the AI doesn't have the info for it. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, if you have excessive head sweating, like people that just have head sweating still, or like for some reason your head and face don't sweat, it's usually like a low blood sugar thing. Also, I'll have to find it. But if you don't have any sweat, that's pretty weird. That's pretty weird. Oops. Sweating off. Freaking, you guys are nuts. I used to live in Texas, sit down outside, smoke for 15 to 30 minutes for my bike ride, work out, so I'd sweat as a bar. I sweat in the house too, just paid $800 electric bill. Texas, jeez, Kelvin. That's a freaking electric bill. Dude, do what I do. Get a freaking window air. I mean, you got a family, though, I think. I don't remember. I don't think you told me or not. Maybe you did. Yeah, you said you had kids. Yeah, so you got to keep everybody cool. Okay. My dad face becomes wet, like sweat dropped really fast. When I was a kid, my mom put me in a bathtub of ice with my temperature 105. It's very no, that you're supposed to do that. I mean, it's not you probably should have went to the hospital and they would have done that. But yeah, you want to lower the body temperature. Man, I've definitely had my granddad and my mom's heart issues. I sweat like a fat guy in a sauna when I'm doing anything. I'm only 138 pounds. That's what I weighed almost my whole life until my mid 40s, 45. When I finally found out about my vitamin deficiency, I weighed my average weight was 138. You're a sweater? Kelvin's a sweater.
This happens because humans have evolved to be one of the best heat-shedding creatures in the entire animal kingdom. I mean, honestly, can you think of any other animal that's as sweaty and hairless as us? That's a really weird thing to say. Anyway, when our ancestors moved from the forests to the savannah millions of years ago, we needed to be able to survive with less shade and to travel longer distances to find our food. And to do that, we put up to 5 million sweat glands all over our skin, more than any other mammal when it comes to sweat gland density. Other large mammals like wolves or big cats, you ever notice how they have to pant to cool down or else they overheat? But humans can sweat up to 12 liters on a hot day. That's more than 5 times the maximum sweating rate of, say, a chimpanzee. And speaking of chimps, we evolved another hot skill, being naked. Well, I mean, not right now, but less fur meant more evaporation and less heat trapped against our skin. Ancient humans' endurance and hairlessness gave our ancestors the ability to track prey for long distances, basically wearing them out and making them easier to catch. We're one of nature's ultimate endurance animals. It took humans
can't
about
wear
2
sweaters,
million
t-shirts,
years to
shorts,
perfect
9
this
months in
extraordinary
Wisconsin.
cool-down system that we have, but it's taken us less
Pushback
than
good,
200
yeah.
years to create a
Yeah, it's
world
not your lawn.
that's starting
I
to
heard smoke
outrun
get through
it.
the sticky
The awareness
foreheads.
has definitely grown in sports medicine. I think it's
Brother,
also
listen, I read something not within the past week about this like lack of people that like do not sweat in the head and people that sweat do, like over sweat, but it was when I was studying vitamin. Maybe it was the potassium thing. I'll have to look back into it. Shit, fire, boy, fire. My forehead is just, we got a 5 head. When I tell my grandma I feel hot and caught, she put a blanket over us and a pot with steaming water. She says, most water, the more you sweat, the better. I mean, hey, grandmas know best. Probably the steam helped because it caused beating up and more evaporation. But I mean, I don't know. It could also cook you.
the conversation has
Oh,
had
when you're coughing. When you're coughing. Yes. Oh, you're talking about fever and coughing. Yes. Sweating it out. Yeah. 5 head. Brother, I got a 6.2 head back. Pull that hair all the way back. I sweat so much in my sleep when I wake up. No way. Hashtag sticking draws. You sweat in your sleep? Are you a big guy, Kelvin? I only sweat in my sleep if I'm sick, and I ain't been sick in years, but yeah, that's the last time I sweat. I mean, and dude, I keep my house at 78. And I'm in Georgia. It's still hot here. It's not as hot as Texas, but
to grow because of what we're seeing in terms of the
sweating,
climate.
but
We're seeing
really?
a greater number of heat
Forgive me.
waves.
That's
We're
all right.
seeing
That's
greater
all right.
duration of
No,
heat
Hamza,
waves.
you're doing good, brother. You're doing good. Yeah, your English is fine. It just took me a minute. I read it too quick and I didn't see the coughing. It's COUGH. But you spelled it how it sounds. You spelled it how it sounds. That's fine. Snuffles it out. I'm 62. I'll die at 72. Yeah, I'm at 78 here. 78. Cold sweat. Oh, you tried to say cold. Oh, that gives you cold sweats. Gotcha. Sweating while asleep sounds like sleep apnea. Dude, yeah, that's crazy. What up, Chosen Beard? Which spot?
So
Which
I think
one,
it's all
Chosen?
culminating together.
Dangerous wet bulb temperatures are particularly common near the equator. It's this perfect storm of humid
Equatorial.
and hot. But dangerous
No,
heat
not
waves
fat.
are
Sweat
becoming
my sleep
more
since I was
common in
a
places
teen.
where
Wow.
they didn't used to happen, and where people aren't adapted. And even in places where people are used to the heat, temperatures are getting hot enough, just like we saw in my test, that our cooling system just can't keep up. In 2015, extreme heat waves across Pakistan and India,
no clue.
places
Wake
where
up,
you'd
we'll do
think
1, 2,
people
3,
are
4, 5
already
every night.
accustomed to heat, killed nearly 5,000 people as the heat climbed to nearly 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Around the globe, extreme heat and humidity events have doubled.
All right, hold on. Let's check something out here. Let me see here. This feels so wrong.
Potassium and night sweats.
While heavy night sweats don't directly cause potassium deficiency, excessive sweating can deplete electrolytes, including potassium, sodium, and magnesium. For medical advice or a diagnosis, consult a professional.
Yeah, so if you sweat heavily, okay, you should definitely balance your electrolytes. Okay, find a cause. Wow, that's crazy. I can't imagine what would cause that. Just not a case of nowhere. I'm just about to take bacon. Oh, you freaking wackadoo. Type in all caps because hand limitations make mixed cap, dev cap, select, reduce shift key. Figure it out. Help me communicate existently about you. That's all right, Queef. You're all right. Queefer Sutherland.
Queefer Sutherland the turd.
You're all right. I sweat in the winter. Jeez, dude, that sounds like a freaking thermostat broken in your body. Like your body thinks it's hot. I can't imagine how cold you must get in the winter. I guess not in Texas, really. It gets extremely hot in Krakistan. Do me a favor, chat, and check to make sure that like button is working. There you go. There you go. Check to make sure that like button's working. Double tap that screen.
since 1979. Even if we keep global warming to something like 1.5 degrees Celsius in the near future, nearly 20%
Precious. My precious. I can also cry like a baby. I can do some voice acting. Here, sweating in bed's a daily habit in the summer. Sweating right now. Well, you're in freaking Africa, dude. That's hot stuff.
of the world's population will be exposed to potentially lethal heat and humidity. But if we stay on the climate change path that we're on right now, it's estimated that more than 70% of people worldwide could experience severe heat waves by 2050. By 2100, cities in the Persian Gulf could regularly exceed the 35 degrees Celsius wet bulb.
A baby. A cat noise. No, it's a young human child. I curse the electric blanket. Okay, that makes a big difference, right? There you go. That makes it. Only my back and neck. Baby, I thought it was I could probably turn it into a cat.
Danger threshold. We're talking feels like temperatures hitting 165 degrees Fahrenheit. I quite literally can't imagine that, because those conditions have never happened since humans have existed. And with more people moving into cities, the risks get even worse. Urban areas can be up to 7 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than less densely built areas. All that concrete and asphalt absorbs and emits extra heat, creating a heat island. Today, more than 4 billion people live in urban areas with elevated heat. Now, things like air conditioning can help keep people safe, but hundreds of millions of people on Earth still don't have access to that. But this is one of the most shocking parts of all of this. When it comes to cities, heat risk isn't evenly distributed. In the 1930s and 40s, the US government graded neighborhoods based on how risky the investment was. An A meant that the area was a safe investment, and a D meant the area was high risk. The end result was that areas with more non-white residents were graded lower and systematically denied access to mortgage loans and home ownership. This process, called redlining, led to widespread segregation. Today, formerly redlined areas are still suffering many negative effects, including being more vulnerable to extreme heat. And a big part of that comes down to differences in how much green space and tree cover there is in those areas. Using satellite imagery, researchers found that redlined neighborhoods have about 20% less.
You should work on a Fisher Cat call. I can work on it. I'll give it a try. I'll work on it. I got back from ShopRite, our grocery store. I want to make another next to it called Shop Left, but that's beside the point. And they only have to right. If you're in America or the UK or Canada, they'll only allow, and this is from Congress, from our government, they'll only allow potassium pills to go up to 99 milligrams, which is 2% your daily daily potassium requirement. 2%. So you would have to eat 50 of them a day, right? This is also why I think the government is stupid about health. So Congress got together and said, okay, we're not going to allow potassium pills to be made over 99 milligrams. And they know that that's only 2%. So do they just understand that most people are going to stay potassium insufficient or deficient and then cause health problems that they'll then go to the doctor and pay money for and then need health care for? Can you a lot lizards? I could. I'm not going to right now. I could definitely imitate a lot lizard. You think I'm black? I'm sick of telling people I'm from Africa. No, I didn't think you were black. I'm guessing with a name like Hamza, you're not black. I wasn't saying anything about you being black. I assume people are black from North Africa are whiter than Hispanics average fairway. But you're probably you're like you're up in the North Africa. Yeah. It's all right if you're black, though, bro. That's crazy. What's the point of selling a supplement? Listen, you will notice if you're deficient in potassium, you will notice a difference with that 99 milligrams, most likely, right? So if you notice that you're sweating less or you're handling the heat better, then at least you know that you've got to find better sources of potassium for yourself, like I did. You said you dosed yourself. Yeah, that's why. Because I could only get 99 milligram tablets, so I dosed myself.
Coverage on average, and in some cases,
Fisher cat sounds like a combination of a baby crying and a woman screaming to get hair. Okay, I'll do it. I promise.
Red line neighborhoods tend to be significantly hotter still today. We see this in city after city. In some, the temperature difference between an A-rated neighborhood and a redlined D neighborhood can be as much as 13 degrees Fahrenheit in the same city. The good news is this means something as basic as planting more trees.
Wait a second. Is he saying because black people live there, it's hotter?
Could help us survive a hotter future.
I'm just joking. Okay, I don't have anything with black people.
Lower the temperature of the land surface.
Well, listen, we have very horrible education systems. They don't teach people the correct anything to any good extent, right? So most people, we also, in America, African Americans were the names of the American black people. So most people in America that don't know anything about Africa at all, they don't even know that Egypt's in Africa. When they think Africa, they think African. And when they think African, they think African American. And they think black skinned people, dark skinned people, brown skinned people. So salt substitutes. Right. So the people that don't take the doctors tell them to lower their sodium intake, they'll take a salt substitute, which is a potassium salt, which is good, but it's not typically because you're lowering your sodium intake. It's because you're raising your potassium intake, because you have to have proper levels of potassium to sodium, not necessarily. Usually if it's too high, your kidneys will just filter it out, but it needs the potassium to do so. But yeah, that's right, Billy, brother. Usually potassium citrate, I believe, or chlorate. Is it potassium chlorate? Chloride, potassium chloride. Potassium salt substitute. I think it's chloride. Yeah, chloride.
Salt substitutes
right. So you have sodium chloride and potassium
instead
chloride.
Of sodium chloride to help lower blood pressure and reduce sodium.
You can get it from the grocery store, but you don't want to take that.
However, too much potassium can be dangerous.
Yeah, too much potassium chloride.
Kidney disease, heart failure, liver disease, or diabetes.
Shut up.
Or if
Shut up. So the problem is with that form of potassium chloride, it'll upset your stomach. It can give you like high sodium salt like issues, because it's basically like taking a bunch of table salt and dumping it down your mouth. So what I take is potassium gluconate, gluconate. Which is if you live in America, Cried Fish, if you live in America, just email me 110thgrade@gmail.com. And I'll send you a link. So Keith, my country is the first in the world date export. No, he said he lives in I forgot already. It starts with a T. Tunisia. Walrus lives in Morocco.
Veneral discharge.
Tunisia. It's all right, brother. It's all right. What up, Space Cow? We're gonna finish watching.
Like 10 to 20 degrees on a summer day. And a row of trees on a city street can lower summer air temperatures by up to 2 degrees Celsius. One study calculated that urban tree cover in the US saves more than 1,000 lives during heat waves every year and gives us something like $12 billion worth of natural air conditioning. While humans have evolved to be incredibly adaptable, there are still limits to what our bodies can survive.
Tunisia.
But thanks to the work of scientists like Becca, we're figuring out ways to help humans live, work, and play in a hotter world. For instance, by planning outside activities around the wet bulb temperature rather than just...
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Stop pronouncing veneral. Veneral. It's venereal. It's venereal.
You'll know what the butt plugs are.
Butt plugs.
Or
Should be on the aisle with our second
do what?
The aisle with our, you said the butt plugs?
No. Butt plugs. What's the matter?
There's a lot of things the matter.
Why?
Frickin' space guy. I meant use Google to see who's the first in exporting dates and olive oil. The number one exporter of dates and olive oil.
Tunisia
There
is
you
the
go.
world's top exporter of dates, and it's also a major exporter of organic olive oil. Companies like Golden Dates Export supply both of these products internationally.
Well, remains one of the largest worldwide exporters of extra virgin olive oil with Italy and the United States. Yeah, it's amazing. We actually have olive farms here in Georgia. You could actually get freaking extra virgin olive oil from a freaking farmer right up the street here. I want to know if you've heard of Operation Looking Glass. Yeah, absolutely. Operation Looking Glass? Yeah, absolutely. Stargate operation. I'm under an NDA. I can't talk about it. We can talk about Operation Looking Glass. All right, let's see. Let's find something fun to watch. What were we supposed to look up after this? I think it was Yusuf Fail said something. I can't remember what it was. We were supposed to look up after this. Storage tank. Yeah, that was crazy. 60-year mystery. Listen, I really like Veneral over Venereal. I really do. All right, Jenkum. Yeah, this is crazy.
Here's a question for you.
I heard
Would
an
you
interesting
huff
theory that added
fermented
something
sewage if it
Michio
meant
Kaku said. Let's talk about it, brother. So, do you guys know what Jenkum is? Jenkum is made from frickin' sewage. They take poo and pea water and put it into a bottle with a balloon over top, let it rot in the sun, and the gases that come off of that, probably hydrogen sulfide and whatnot, then they breathe it in and you hallucinate for a few minutes. It's freaking crazy. It's freaking crazy.
you could see your dead mother's face
You can see
for
your dead
1
mother's
hour?
face.
Bro, just look at a photo.
Ah, there you go. Jenkum's your all-time favorite. It makes your breath stink. Sorry.
What sort of question is that? Now, most of us would say no immediately. The very idea is revolting. The health risks alone are enough reason to never
Basically, his
consider it.
theories change
And
in the
there's also the
past.
fact
Is that changing the past causes new alternative dimensions to branch out, but there's another theory that states when the past changes, it can result in simultaneous. I know a woman, Candida. No way. After the yeast. Okay, result in simultaneous merging of dimensions. This is why we have Mandela effects, both things are true. This is the thing. It's fun to think about. But when there is no possible way to prove these things. And another thing, like we found out that some of these companies do the Mandela effecting on their own to keep their names popular. Like Fruit of the Loom, they actually did have a cornucopia, and they just lied and said they didn't. They changed it. They knew it, and then when asked, like even though the marketing director said no, we never had a cornucopia, and then people found very old underwear and shirts and stuff that had cornucopias, right? So they just, and then apparently Berenstain Bears was always Berenstain. But people wrote it so many times that when on the internet, when you could search for it, you would type in the name Berenstain, and it would bring up the Berenstain Bears. But all of these other things like Cup of Noodle and Cup Noodle, those are all made up ones too. Like, so but is it true? A lot of this stuff is done in marketing departments. So I don't know. We have approximately 87 million olive trees. The country is about 164,000 square kilometers. So he died twice. Yeah, I saw a homeless dude in a slum, man, California, huffing something in a paper bag. Did line out for like 10 minutes before huffing it again. So it was probably paint or rubber cement or something along, maybe gas. Probably one of those. Yeah, a lot of people do that, dude. A lot of people. It's not good. It'll destroy your brain. It's unbelievably addicting and unbelievable. You're putting yourself into brain damage. It's absolutely horrible. It could have been poo. It could have been poo. Fruit of the Loom or big time schemers. Yeah, yes. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Listen, if you look at Google numbers, not Google numbers, Google Analytics, what's the thing called? I can't remember what it's called. But it tells you like what words are trending on Google or like how often. And when they see Mandela effect has a peak, they're like, how can we get a part of this? How can we make as much money off of this effect? And those Gen Xers are going to understand. Yeah, my parents both produced Berenstein in the 70s, but obviously misread it. Yeah. Recently, a video was related to the Mandela effect, Project Looking Gas, Stargate. There are no such thing as aliens from other planets. They're actually from another dimensions. Probably some paint or cement, something that knows much more. Yeah, probably not Jenkum. Actually, from the future, there are at least 4 or 5 different alternate realities that bounce all CERN. So I definitely heard about that with CERN. But do you know there are other particle colliders like CERN here in the United States, like in New York and in Tennessee? So they're like, we don't know. They could all be screwing with us. We got no idea. But at least we have other people to talk to. And are we all going to be in the same reality or at the same time? Like the same, like, why is it that me and you is all this just my reality? It's the explanation for the tall whites and other entities. 9 Mile.
The taste of feces and urine would probably linger in your mouth and your mind for days, possibly your whole life. But you're not a 16-year-old orphan living on the streets of Lusaka, Zambia. You haven't watched both your parents die from AIDS. You're not starving, sleeping in ditches with no family and no future. And you haven't spent years huffing glue just to numb the constant pain of existing. For Luke Mapunde and dozens of other street children, Jenkum, a drug made by fermenting human feces and urine in bottles, then inhaling the gases, was worth it. Luke would go into the sewage pond in his town with his friends, plunge his hands into the dark brown sludge, and start scooping it into a bottle. How'd you come up with this? Then he would take that bottle of human feces and urine with him, seal it with a balloon stretched over the opening, and leave it to ferment in the hot Zambian sun for about a week. The gases built up inside, primarily methane and hydrogen sulfide produced by decomposing sewage, would inflate the balloon. Then Luke would remove the balloon and inhale those gases, and for about an hour, he'd be high. And we're not talking about just a little light buzz here, we're talking about powerful hallucinations, complete disassociation from reality, and visions so vivid they felt more real than the nightmarish life that he was living. But this is not the story that most people know. If you've ever heard of Jenkum at all, you probably know it from 2007, when the American media exploded with warnings about a terrifying new drug sweeping through middle schools and high schools. Parents were told to smell their children's breath and check their bedrooms for suspicious bottles. But did Jenkum really ever enter America?
No.
And how did kids in Zambia ever come to start sniffing gas from? It's an excellent question. Let's find out. In the late 1990s, Lusaka in Zambia was the picture of a society that had fallen apart.
Basically, the explanation there, given if Mandela effects, the timelines merged, and they are also Fruit of the Loom with Fruit of the Loom with Fruit of the Loom with Fruit of the Loom, that Mandela died twice. Possibly. Maybe that's how he ended up. Let me think about something real quick.
There was an HIV/AIDS epidemic, the poverty rates were astronomical, and there were more children on the streets than there had ever been before. The first HIV case in Zambia was reported back in 1988, and by 1991 the National AIDS Program had recorded 15,000 cases, accounting for 14% of the country's annual deaths. 7 years later, around 90,000 people had died of AIDS.
Timothy is doing
Jenkum. Plunged from 54 in the mid-1980s to 37 With deaths happening at this rate, traditional family structures were collapsing. When one child lost their parents to AIDS, aunts and uncles would take them in. And when those aunts and uncles died, the child would have nowhere to go because even if their grandparents were alive, they were already caring for 5 or 6 orphan grandchildren. By 1999, an estimated 650,000 children in Zambia had been orphaned by AIDS, but the real number was probably much higher because these statistics only counted double orphans, children who'd lost both parents. Single orphans, kids who just lost one parent, usually the mother, were hundreds of thousands more. And for children without a home or an irresponsible parent, the streets...
The irony of the story is that Mandela doesn't even know or remember the Mandela effect, right? Right. That is the irony. Too bad they just can't use the nitrous. Right, brother. Right. Listen. There's a double-edged sword with this. Like if you've heard about like trying to save a lot of these people's lives, like apparently Bill Gates has done more harm than good by like distributing mosquito nets. Right? So they distributed these very fine mesh mosquito nets that would keep mosquitoes from biting you while you slept and whatnot to try to save people from malaria. But they are used to being bit by mosquitoes and they wanted food. So they used the mosquito nets and they started fishing with them. But the problem that the holes are too small, so the baby fish can't escape. Like fishing nets have large net hole size so that the baby fish don't get caught up. So then they started overfishing the rivers and pulling out the baby fish too. So then there was no baby fish to turn into adult fish. So if they would have just left them alone and treated them with the medicines that they needed at the times that they needed it, then they could have done some good. But trying to go overboard, people have to create a lot of their own medicines. And they've had some, but they were told not to use the medicines that they got from the jungles and whatnot. They were like, no, dude, no, freaking, you got to use Western medicine and whatnot. And it's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Obviously, I did clinical rotations, including psych enters, where there was nothing sadder than young huffers. Man, they got brain damage. It's absolute. You need oxygen, people. And huffers, like, it's not just the oxygen, it's the high rates of carbon dioxide and the solvent vapors, because you're breathing back into a bag. So the carbon dioxide and a little bit of oxygen that you're blowing back into the bag, you're breathing that in again. So you're not getting the percentage of oxygen that you normally get from the air. And then the next breath is less and less. So then you're just basically huffing carbon dioxide. It's very compelling, interesting that the Mandela effect is a result of emerging timelines. It's a possibility. It's a possibility, yeah, but is it probable? We will never know. The strange thing, the evidence cannot be certain sounds. The evidence can only be. So why can evidence of only one thing be found? It's a good question. Yeah, it's terrible. Timmy goes to Africa, Southport. Yeah, Timmy. Yeah, I remember that. Nancy Reagan more than ever. Just say no. Yep, Nancy Reagan. At least she did something good. Do you think it's all? No. I think it's only known in Zambia, Hamzi. Just say no too. Obviously, it's not all Africa. Yeah, it's definitely a poor situation. People always other countries in the United States very violent places. Violence is 13% of the population. It's a small geographic. Here. Go light a cigarette. You accidentally light yourself on fire. Yo.
Jeez. With the only option. We're talking about children as young as 6 or 7 having to scavenge on the streets, beg and steal, sleep in ditches, and grow up sniffing drugs as the only form of pleasure and escape. Glue sniffing was popular during that time. Genken brand glue specifically, which is where the name Jenken came from, was particularly popular. They'd also huff petrol when they could steal it. Anything went so long as it could numb the constant hunger, fear, and awareness that every day might be their last. Then sometime in the mid-1990s, somebody discovered that sewage worked too. The first media mention came in August 1995 in an Interpress Service Wire report.
This is odd that it was 1988, whatever, that this was discovered. Like, humans have been shitting and pissing for centuries, millennia even, right? It's finally...
A journalist described boys hanging around the sewage ponds in Lusaka's Garden Township, ponds so putrid that people literally sped through that section of the slum, unable to stand the stench. The boys would scoop up human waste from the edges of the sewer ponds in old cans and containers, cover them with plastic bags, and leave them to ferment for about a week. Then they'd inhale the biogases that built up. Makule Nyambe, a 5th grade dropout, told the IPS reporter, quote, "Old man, this is more potent than cannabis." In July 1999, BBC reporter Ishbel Matheson went to
it's about a inhalable drug walrus called jankum, which is human waste from the sewage lines put into a bottle, plastic bottle with a balloon on top, and then as it decays, it puts off gases, fills the balloon, and they inhale the gas from the balloon. The thing is best to just let them all die. Some ways idea that might be two or more realities that merge together. It's possible, but is it probable? And also, we've only got so much brain power to use to solve the problems at hand. So things where if I'm just going for a ride, then I'm going for that ride. I'm gonna do things that I can think. I'm having a hard time understanding his accent. Yeah. He's got a very thick English accent. What up, Aaron? What you mean smoking turds? What's up, Aaron? No, I ain't smoking no turds. I like the idea of entities coming back from the future trying to fix things. That's a pretty cool thought, though. I've had someone tell me sorry when I said I'm from Africa. I said, bro, I'm living better than you. Right? Yeah, they just don't know, Hamzy. They just don't know. They got no idea. And we're lied to so often in America because you've got a lot of fake companies, real companies, but they say that they're going to help kids like this in Africa that don't have any parents, don't have any food and water, and are sniffing freaking poop gas. So they get people in America to donate, and they don't get millions of dollars donated, and then they don't do it. They steal the money and stuff, and it happens all the time. So they want to keep the narrative such a way that this is what Africa is. What we're watching right now is what Africa is. So donate money to help the kids in Africa, and then they don't. Come back from Beaver Dimensions. If you think that the scientists and the government scientists that have the money and the resources to create the technology to do so would be the ones to be doing the time traveling.
Osaka to investigate. At the sewage ponds, she watched 2 teenage boys plunge their hands into the dark brown sludge, gathering up fistfuls and stuffing it into small plastic bottles. They tapped the bottles on the ground, careful to leave enough room at the top for methane to form. She interviewed 16-year-old Luke Mapunde, who told her why he preferred jenkem to other substances. Quote, "With glue, I just hear voices in my head. With jenkem, I see visions. I see my mother, who is dead, and I forget about the problems in my life." Yeah, this kid, 16 years old, living on the streets, his mother dead, was huffing fermented because it let him see his mother again for an hour. Because for 60 minutes, he could forget that he was a child with no parents, no home, no future, living in a city where sewage ran through the streets and AIDS was killing everyone he knew. Nathan Banda of Zambia's Drug Enforcement Agency.
Right. It's a big problem. It's a big problem because it's not. You're trying to interrupt a natural course of development for people. The development doesn't mean that they have to end up like America or the UK. They're going to do what they're naturally going to do. And by interrupting that, by infringing upon the natural order of things, you screw things up. And a lot of times, the more money you spend, the more things you try to do to help is just interrupting the order. They did him some. What up, Tal? It's called jankum, Talik. It's fart gas, poo gas collected in bottles that kids in Zambia are doing.
Confirmed Jenkins' existence to the BBC. He wasn't proud of it. "It's unimaginable," he said. "It hits right at the heart to see a human being coming down to a level to be able to dip his hand into a sewage pond, picking out the material and not caring about anything but the feeling of getting high." End quote. A 2002 report by Project Concern International Zambia and Fountain of Hope, non-profits working with Lusaka street children, listed jenkem as the 3rd most popular drug among the city's young addicts, behind cannabis, glue, and dagga, but ahead.
Future timeline dimensions give a whole new simulation to the fact that liquid acid technology really adds a whole new dimension to everything. If it exists, there's bad things in Africa, but why don't they show the good things? Actually, it's same thing about America, brother. It's the same thing about America. Why don't they show the beautiful families having great lives, going fishing and like they don't show that. They show the worst of the worst. They're going to show you the most destroyed cities in America, and the sex and the violence. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Why would they just show you that everything's good in frickin' Sharpsburg, Georgia? Nobody's dying, everybody's getting along, and everything's great. Because countries, the leaders of countries that have areas like this, they want to be known for the best parts, but the countries that have bad shit going on are going to say, look, Africa's just as bad as New York City. Look what the kids are doing there. And yeah, that's why Africa's been a lost cause. They have problems. So yeah, apparently it does. I mean, that, like, I've heard about this years ago. But yeah, apparently it does. There you go. Walrus is from Morocco. Hamzi. Is there any other information about the Mandela effect once he died? There actually is similar. Yeah, right. No, I've showed lots of beautiful places in Africa, but we were just going through some crazy stuff. I figured we'd show it. It's not residual for sure. I remember hearing about Africa years ago. Yeah, I remember hearing about it years ago. Yeah, I remember when I was in high school. That was in the 90s.
Head of uncured tobacco and petrol. So Jenkem, it was real. Desperately, horrifyingly, disgustingly real, but it was contained to one city in one of the world's poorest countries, used by children so destitute that huffing sewage gas seemed like the only reasonable option. And then the internet got a hold of that. On June the 7th, 2007, a user calling himself Pickwick
like I said before,
logged into Topsy.com, short for Temple of the Screaming Electron, a discussion...
They will be. The main problem now is other countries going in and messing with them. Like you have countries that go in and say, hey, look at all this gold, give it to us and we'll give you food and whatnot. Look at all this water, let us build dams here and we'll give you places to work. Rather than saying, you guys need to set up, like you need people from Africa studying and saying, what do these other countries want with these minerals? Then find a way to get funding, World Bank or whatever, to set up manufacturing to make the products, rather than just giving the mining rights to people, other countries. Includes stuff, all the good stuff. Jenkins proof. They also have minerals. Yeah, right. Do you believe big cities are infected with demonic? 100%. I like to force certain force to use the government from the glass. It looks for future Smith and Hillary become president, be defeated of it.
Forum dedicated to drug experiences, hacking, and generally offensive content. Totsi is the kind of place where people shared instructions for making explosives, posted about their shoplifting techniques, and tried the surface web, dark web, and tried to one-up each other with increasingly outrageous stories. Pickwick posted a series of photos showing himself making Jenkem. There was a large glass jug filled with what looked like feces and urine. A balloon was stretched over the opening. In subsequent photos, the balloon had inflated as gas built up inside it. The label on the jug reads, Jenkem, Pickwick, Totsi. Then Pickwick posted his trip report. He described inhaling the gas from the balloon, immediately feeling lightheaded and experiencing intense hallucinations. He claimed he saw his grandfather, who had died, talked to trees and rocks, and lost all sense of time and space. He claimed the high lasted about 40 minutes, followed by a come down that made him have auditory hallucinations with voices and loud cracks that made him paranoid. In conclusion, he wrote, was it enjoyable? No, not really. Would I do it again? Definitely not. Would I recommend another person try it? I wouldn't to anyone I'm close to. If you are very adventurous and would try anything, then I guess you should try Jenkem. But know that the preparation is not made worthwhile by the trip.
Jeez. The thing is, the speculation the government did not create technology that already existed. Yeah. So there's lots of theories about that's what's going on in the North Pole. Yeah, whippets aren't human fecal matter. Yeah, that's one of the huge things. I would love to say that Europeans needed 2 world wars to understand how important is unity, but remember that Europe is united. Thanks, because the U.S. needs what? The wrong nitrous oxide.
They're much less harmful than thousands of blues across the 100 for the IQ. Yeah, it's definitely a different thing. And also, you don't do it's not freaking human feces. All right, everybody. I appreciate y'all being here. I love y'all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.